Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Awakening Daily Information Panel, Become a True Immortal. Chapter 81, 368 Spiritual Stones from Qingyao Shengren's Storage Bag. 412 Spiritual Stones from Zhao Xuanting's Storage Bag. 778 Spiritual Stones in total. 18 bottles of Yunling Pill, 21 bottles of Quenching Pill, 17 bottles of Qi Replenishing Pill. 4 first-level low-grade Wind Blade Talismans, 9 first-level low-grade Defense Talismans. First-level Alchemy Inheritance. Most of the Stone Concave Stone Bell Spiritual Milk, a Black Broken Sword, a low-grade Magic Sword, a low-grade Magic Harpoon, 4 Feathers of Fire Sparrows, Soul Locking and Breath Hiding Method, Qi Refining Period, Explosive Flame Technique, Earth Armor Technique, Qingmu Sword. In Zhao Xuanting's Storage Bag, several jade slips contain spells. Wind Control Technique, Wooden Shield Technique, Fierce Wind Knife and other 3 spells. Great. These spirit stones and pills are enough for me to cultivate to the 6th level of Qi Refining, right? Qin Wang looked at the many spirit stones and pills in front of him, and his eyes showed satisfaction. This time, he really reaped a great harvest. He also got 5 magic skills. The only regret is that there is no knife-shaped magic weapon. Qin Wang prefers to use a knife. Continue to practice and strive to break through the 5th level of Qi Refining as soon as possible. Qin Wang found that he had a panel for grinding proficiency. There seemed to be no shackles in breaking through. As long as the proficiency reached, he could break through directly. I don't know if I need a foundation pill to break through the foundation with my proficiency. Qin Wang said secretly, as far as he knows. When a cultivator cultivates to the 9th level of Qi Refining, he can try to build a foundation. It is said that at this time, the hope of building a foundation is relatively much greater. Of course, you can continue to practice and try to build a foundation when you reach the peak of the 12th level. However, only some family sons who don't have to worry about resources, peerless geniuses and monsters, do this because they have no time to build a foundation. In order to build a foundation as soon as possible, ordinary cultivators all choose to build a foundation at the 9th level of the Qi Refining stage. Relatively speaking, flawless foundation building is thousands of times more difficult than ordinary foundation building. After all, even ordinary foundation building is something that countless cultivators cannot achieve in their entire lives. Ordinary cultivators dare not even think about flawless foundation building. At present, we can only take it one step at a time. Qin Wang said in his heart. Qin Wang put away all his things, divided them into 2 storage bags, and put them in his arms. He currently showed that he was at the 2nd level of the Qi Refining stage. Hanging a storage bag on his waist would attract attention. Jinzhou. In a deep mountain, an old man in black, about 50 years old, with a gold money spot on his left face, sat cross-legged. He looked at the snow silkworm in front of him, frowned slightly, and said, "In which direction is the direction of the 3-corpse Gu King Jar?" The 2 tentacles of the snow silkworm on the ground kept trembling, pointing to the Tianwu Mountains at the entrance of Shaodanshan Market. The person who took my 3 corpses Gu King Jar. He actually embarked on the immortal path. Or was it taken away by someone in the immortal path? Jin Shifeng frowned deeply, his face was very ugly, and he murmured, "It seems that I must go back to Shaodan Mountain." Jin Shifeng was very anxious. This 3 corpses Gu King Jar is his reliance, and he must get it back. Although he is a member of the Demon Slayer Alliance, he dare not use the Demon Slayer Alliance to retrieve it. He can only rely on himself to secretly retrieve it. If the leader Tang Zhangzhang knows about this thing, he will definitely not be able to keep the 3 corpses Gu King Jar. In the early hours of the morning. Daily Intelligence Refresh. Today's Intelligence. 1. Your spiritual field was taken away by Zhao Haifeng. According to the information obtained, Zhao Haifeng used the little power in his hands and the relationship with the Foreign Affairs Elder Zhao Yulong to take down Lu Lan, the Taoist partner of Ren Tianqi, the small leader of the Demon Slayer Alliance, and your spiritual field was given to Lu Lan for sublease. 2. Zhao Haifeng looked through your package yesterday and got information. Zhao Haifeng cared too little for his Taoist partner Mo Union. Mo Union couldn't stand the loneliness and had an affair with Yi Zhanong, the leader of the Demon Slayer League. 3. Zhao Haifeng took away your spiritual field. Get information. Zhao Haifeng has a masochism and needs his partner to whip him hard to be satisfied. His back is covered with whip marks. 4. You put the 3 corpses Gu King jar into your storage bag yesterday. Get information. Jin Shifeng, who has not recovered from his injuries, will bring the sniffing spirit Gu to Shouten Mountain to take back the 3 corpses Gu King jar. He is worried that the treasure will be taken away by the leader of the Demon Slayer League. He doesn't want to make a big fuss unless it is absolutely necessary. 5. You haven't returned for 8 days. The spiritual field and spiritual valley were taken back by the Foreign Affairs Hall. Get information. The elder of the Foreign Affairs Hall, Zhao Yulong, has never forgotten Zhang Panpan. He is going to take the opportunity of transporting resources to the Spirit Medicine Gate to meet Zhang Panpan. 6. You obtained the first-level alchemy inheritance of Master Qingyao, and obtained information that this first-level alchemy inheritance was once left by Xie Zhaofang, the elder of the Lingyao Shanzong of the Lingyao sect. 7. You obtained Zhao Xuanting's magical weapon, the Ice Mysterious Sword, and obtained information that this magical weapon was sold by a cultivator named Bai 6 years ago, and this cultivator has already established his foundation. 8. You obtained the soul-locking and breath-hiding method Qi refining volume and obtained information that the fragments of the soul-locking and breath-hiding method foundation building volume are in the hands of a female cultivator in Qingyan Shancheng. 9. You obtained 4 feathers of the fire bird and obtained information that the fire bird has advanced to become a 3rd-level monster comparable to the initial stage of foundation building, and the fire feathers were dropped when it advanced. 10. You have obtained the black broken sword and the information that this sword is a spiritual sword used by a cultivator in the foundation building stage. Although this sword is broken, if you get the matching driving spiritual technique, you can use the sword energy to kill the 9th level of the Qi refining stage. However, it consumes a lot of mana, and you need to use the spiritual technique to absorb spiritual stones to replenish spiritual energy. Zhao Haifeng himself is having an affair with the Taoist partner of Ren Tianqi, the leader of the Demon Slayer League. His Taoist partner is having an affair with Yi Zhanong, the leader of the Demon Slayer League. They are really not from the same family. Qin Wang looked at the first, second, and third pieces of information, his eyes showing a thoughtful look. Perhaps he could use this information to make Zhao Haifeng pay the price he deserves. Zhao Haifeng also has a masochistic habit, which is really a rare thing. Jin Shifeng wants to return to Shouten Mountain and doesn't want to make a big fuss. Qin Wang looked at the 4th piece of information and had some ideas in his mind. Jin Shifeng doesn't want the Demon Slayer League to know about his 3 corpses Gu King jar, so he will come alone to seize this treasure, but I don't know what level of cultivation he is in. If he is at the 5th level of Qi refining, he is not afraid of him. If he is at the 6th level of Qi refining, it will be a bit difficult. Hey, why don't I contact the people of the Demon Slayer League and find out about Jin Shifeng's cultivation without leaving any trace? Another thing is that Lu Lan, the Taoist partner of the Demon Slayer League's small leader Ren Tianqi, and the small leader Yi Zhanong can all be manipulated. Suddenly, Qin Wang's heart moved. However, to manipulate others, you need to have a higher cultivation than others, otherwise it is easy to be backlashed. Moreover, you can't show up and can only divert the trouble. This needs to be carefully considered. How to do it while staying out of the matter. Zhao Yulong is going to the Spirit Medicine Gate to see Zhang Panpan. Looking at the 5th piece of information, Qin Wang showed a sneer at the corner of his mouth. The fragments of the soul-locking and breathing method foundation building volume are in the hands of a female cultivator in Qingyan Immortal City. Qin Wang's eyes showed a thoughtful look. He had heard of Qingyan Immortal City in Shouten Mountain. It is a huge immortal city located between the 3 countries of Dakang, Dawei, and Dachu. This immortal city gathers immortal gate powerhouses from the 3 major countries, as well as independent cultivators and families. This black broken sword is actually the spiritual sword used by the foundation building cultivator. As long as I get the spiritual formula, I can use the broken sword to absorb the spiritual energy of the spiritual stone. Qin Wang looked at the broken sword and felt a little regretful. This sword can't be used without the matching spiritual formula. Right now, the most important thing is to get rid of Jin Shifeng and the sniffing spirit Gu. Qin Wang thought to himself after reading the information. This danger must be eliminated in advance. Qin Wang doesn't like the feeling of being followed. According to the information display, The reason why Jin Shifeng was able to track him was entirely because of the sniffing spirit Gu. The sniffing spirit Gu has an extraordinary origin. It is the former owner of the 5 elements divine light jar, which is also the 3 corpse Gu king jar, venerable Gu. Because he cultivated the evil Gu king, he was besieged and killed by the powerful powers of the right path. His body collapsed and he was simply poisoned by humans. 1. Incarnate into the sniffing spirit Gu, and undergo nirvana and rebuild. Currently, the sniffing spirit Gu can track the 5 elements divine light jar, so why don't I attract a large number of monsters from the depths of Qian Mountain to devour the sniffing spirit Gu? Or even get rid of this Jin Shifeng? Thinking that Jin Shifeng was about to return to Shaodan Mountain, when Qin Wang was anxious, a bright light flashed in his mind. Don't you have the psychedelic incense that lures demons? Make a few more copies. Make 10 copies, bury the 5 elements divine light jar deep in a suitable place in Qian Mountain, then put 10 copies of the monster baiting psychedelic incense on top, arrange an ignition mechanism, and wait for Jin Shifeng and the sniffing spirit Gu to find it and trigger the monster baiting. Just light the psychedelic incense. By then, before they get the 3 corpse Gu king jar, they may be torn to pieces by the swarming monster beasts. Wait for the monsters to retreat. Just go there and dig out the 5 elements divine light jar yourself. Only, the device of igniting the psychedelic incense that lures monsters requires careful planning to ensure that everything is foolproof. Do this sooner rather than later. Wait until daybreak. First buy 10 copies of the psychedelic incense materials to lure monsters, and then buy a large bag of papyrus, saltpeter, phosphorus, etc. for backup. When Jin Shifeng finds Xiaodanshan, he can be lured into a trap. Qin Wang made up his mind and fell asleep. The next day, early morning, Qin Wang rushed to the Demon Slayer Square, bought 10 psychedelic incense for luring monsters, 5 pieces of sorrowful soul-sealing incense, and many other materials, and rushed to Qian Mountain. Qin Wang came to Qian Mountain and went 10 miles deeper into the wild boar demon's lair before finding a hidden stone wall that was as tall as a person. He carefully avoided the nearby monsters. While using the shocking knife, he dug a deep hole in the stone wall, stuffed the 3 corpse Gu king jar into it, and then covered it with a stone. 2 hidden small earth-colored ropes were tied to the ears of the jar, and there were 10 movable bolts on both sides made of fire, saltpeter, phosphorus, etc. As long as Jin Shifeng finds the 3 corpse Gu king jar and takes it out, his mechanism will be activated to instantly ignite the monster-baiting psychedelic incense, attracting many nearby monsters. It's finally set up. Now we just wait for Jin Shifeng to take the bait. So many monsters are enough to tear it into pieces. After being busy until the afternoon, Qin Wang looked at the trap he had set, moved away and checked again and again to confirm that it could ignite the fire. Then he carefully avoided the monster and turned around to leave. Next, you must always pay attention to whether Jin Shifeng has arrived at Shaodan Mountain. When Jin Shifeng goes to the trap, follow him at a distance, wait for the beast tide to subside, and then go to the scene to retrieve the 3 corpse Gu king jar. This is the best way. The next day, Foreign Affairs Hall, 5 spiritual medicine sect Qi refining stage disciples, all with the spiritual medicine sect logo embroidered on their chests, were sitting behind the counter, with Zhao Haifeng standing out among them with his hands behind his back. Senior Zhao, the spiritual fields I rented before have been subleased. Shouldn't I pay out the previously leased spiritual stones and spiritual grain seeds? Qin Wang looked at Zhao Haifeng with a respectful expression on the surface, but he had murderous intent in his heart. This piece of shit. It's so shameless. I sublet the Lingtian and Linggu to make a fortune. I have to rent it again. The last loss of the Lingtian and Linggu seeds has to be counted on myself. How can this make sense? Because you didn't come back for so many days, the spiritual field was sublet, and the spiritual seedlings were wiped out and replanted by others. You will naturally bear the losses incurred before. If you want to rent it, rent it. There is only one vacant spiritual field. If you don't want to rent it, others will rent it. Zhao Haifeng frowned, very impatient. This is what he has been doing all along. The harvest of spiritual farmers who died while out collecting medicine fell into his hands. Over the years, relying on his relationship with Zhao Yulong, he has made a lot of money, and this has made a lot of female cultivators miserable. In order to stay in Shaodan Mountain, Those female cultivators did not dare to provoke him, so they could only knock them out and swallow them in their stomachs. Let him play with it. Senior, I'll rent it. I haven't harvested it yet, so I'd better wait until I harvest it and then replenish the spiritual stones, okay? Qin Wang said quickly. His current identity is a spiritual farmer. If he does not rent a spiritual field, a second-level qi refining period will definitely attract the attention of interested people. It is best to plant some spiritual fields as a cover. Well, this number 74 spiritual field will be rented to you. This is your brand of lingu seed, take it. When the spiritual grain is harvested, the 2 rents will be paid at once. Zhao Haifeng took out a black plate representing the spiritual field number and a bag of spiritual grain seeds, and threw them on the counter. Yes, Qin Wang took the wooden sign and seeds, turned around and left the Foreign Affairs Hall. A quarter of an hour later, Qin Wang walked through his spiritual field. He found that the spiritual rice seedlings he planted in his previous spiritual field had not been erased, and they all exuded greenness. There was a man with a thin build and about 30 years old. The third-level male cultivator in the qi refining stage is using the spirit rain technique to irrigate the spirit grain seedlings. Dear friend, I just rented No. 74 Lingtian. Can you tell me where it is? Qin Wang walked up and said hello. Well, that's the third piece over there. The male cultivator glanced at Qin Wang, but he didn't stop using the spiritual rain technique in his hand. He was very skilled. By understanding, Qin Wang learned that this male cultivator is named Yu Qingfeng, who is also from Dakang. He has 4 spiritual roots and has been in Shaodan Mountain for more than 10 years. He is still at the third level of qi refining stage. In order to earn more spiritual stones, he rented this seed. When Qin Wang asked him how he could rent 3 spiritual fields, he laughed it off and kept it secret. I guess I rented it from Lu Lan. Qin Wang and Yu Qingfeng chatted for a while, and without asking any more questions, they went to plow their spiritual fields, sow the seeds, and use the spiritual rain technique to irrigate them. Yu Qingfeng didn't want to say it, and he didn't tell his real name either. He only said that his name was Qin Taidan. I just came to Shaodanshan, please give me some support. Qin Wang planted the Spirit Valley, returned to the hut, and began to ponder the few spells he had acquired. His cultivation had reached the 4th level of the qi refining stage, and he had to improve his proficiency in other spells to be prepared. The next afternoon, Qin Wang looked at his panel with a look of satisfaction. Qin Wang, lifespan, 1899. Realm, 4th level of qi refining stage 163 4,000. Spell, Spiritual Rain Introduction. Progress, 156 800ths. Effect, mana is condensed, spiritual rain is given, and seedlings are promoted to grow. It can be completed in 2 years. Spell, Explosive Flame Technique Introduction. Progress, 1/800th. Effect, the method gathers fire into a fist fire bomb, shoots out in the air, explodes when it hits the ground, and the flames burn. It can be completed in 3 years. Introduction to the Explosive Flame Technique. It will be a good helper in destroying corpses and eradicating traces in the future. Qin Wang looked at the explosive flame technique displayed on the panel. It took him more than a day to get started, and he was very satisfied. At the 4th level of qi refining stage, the upper limit of lifespan is 99 years. The qi refining period breaks through 1 level, and the lifespan is increased by 8 years. This made Qin Wang even more looking forward to the foundation lifespan in the future. Who doesn't want to live forever? 4. You laid a trap for Jin Shifeng yesterday and obtained information that Jin Shifeng had cultivated to the 6th level of the qi refining stage and had already left for Shaodan Mountain. 7. Yesterday you saw the spiritual field that you rented before. After getting information, Lu Lan sublet your spiritual field to Yu Qingfeng and earned 5 spiritual stones. Last night, in order to thank you, Lu Lan and Zhao Haifeng were in the wild. Have fun in a hidden place. 9. Zhao Haifeng cheated your spiritual field and obtained information. Zhao Haifeng was still full of ideas yesterday and planned to invite Lu Lan to a hidden place in the wild for fun. Zhao Haifeng, this fool, is using my spiritual field to play with female cultivators. You need to pay more attention to see when he goes out. Qin Wang looked at some useful information from last night, with murderous intent flashing in his eyes. Zhao Haifeng dared to seek pleasure in the wild. He was going to hunt for their tails and seal them with the incense of grief. If that didn't work, he would use the demon-baiting psychedelic incense to attract the black boar demons and bite them to death. Shaodanshanfang City. The gathering place for members of the Demon Slayer Alliance consists of more than 10 halls. An old man in black, about 50 years old, with a money spot on the left side of his face, was sitting on a bed in the side hall on the far right. In an alms bowl in front of him, there was a snow silkworm crawling, with 2 tentacles trembling constantly. This person is none other than Jin Shifeng, a member of the Demon Slayer Alliance who returned to Shaodan Mountain from the secular world. As a member of the Demon Slayer Alliance, accommodation will be allocated within the alliance. What? The baby is not in Shaodanshan. In the direction of Qian Mountain. Jin Shifeng looked at Shui Kan, his brows furrowed deeply. The last time he sensed the sniffing spirit Jiyu, the 3 corpse Jiyu king jars were in Shaodan Mountain, and now they have gone to Qian Mountain. It seems that we must go early to avoid a long night of dreams. Let's prepare some things in the afternoon. Jin Shifeng took a deep breath, stood up, and murmured. With the 3 corpse Jiyu king jar, he can cultivate a kind of spirit-changing Jiyu and plant it into the target's body. The target's magic power is gradually absorbed by the spirit-changing Jiyu. Finally, the spirit-changing Jiyu comes out of the target's body. This at that time, by refining the spirit transformation Jiyu, you can use the rich spiritual power contained in the spirit transformation Jiyu to break through the realm. Jin Shifeng is planning to go to Qian Mountain early tomorrow morning. Cabin 88. Afternoon. Qin Wang sat cross-legged on the couch and slowly opened his eyes. In his hands, the 2 spiritual stones turned into ashes. Realm. 4th level of Qi refining stage, 443 4,000ths. On his dashboard, his cultivation progress reached 443. As per usual, after Qin Wang absorbed the 2 spiritual stones, he took out all his treasures and touched them one by one, especially the broken sword. He hoped that through this method, he could learn the spiritual secret of refining the broken sword. When Qin Wang took out the soul-gathering bowl, his heart moved. He remembers, intelligence once showed that the soul-gathering bowl can be refined with spiritual consciousness. Isn't he now at the 4th level of the Qi refining stage? Why did you forget this? To know, this soul-gathering bowl is a treasure that actively absorbs souls. It contains the souls of Li Laosai, Zheng Kecheng, Ding Dian, Zhou Chohong, Chen Kun, Zhou Yijian, Mrs. Chen, etc. It was originally exposed that he wanted to dig out Li Laosai's face. 800 corpses will be whipped into the grave, but it has not yet been realized. Thinking of this, Qin Wang immediately held the soul-gathering bowl in his hand and took a closer look. This bowl is half a foot in size, filled with black soil. It feels cold and heavy in your hand. There was a cold air emanating from it, and Qin Wang shuddered involuntarily. Qin Wang held the soul-gathering bowl in his hand and looked at it for a long time before overcoming the coldness. He approached the soul-gathering bowl, and his consciousness slowly reached up to the soul-gathering bowl. Hiss. The moment Qin Wang's consciousness penetrated the soul-gathering bowl, he suddenly felt an extreme coldness that made him extremely uncomfortable. This feeling was like reaching into the pond to grab ice in the winter when he was a child. Blocky feeling. It's numb. Qin Wang received the tip of the intelligence and did not flinch. His consciousness continued to explore the soul-gathering bowl. Not long after, Qin Wang's consciousness saw a pitch-black altar. There was a black shadow of a bull above the altar, which was exactly what a soul-gathering bull looked like. Qin Wang's consciousness slowly approached the phantom of the alms bowl. The moment he approached, the phantom of the alms bowl suddenly dissipated and turned into lines of large black characters. Qin Wang saw the content of the characters clearly and his heart suddenly changed. Happiness. This is actually the formula for the 1st level of restriction in the soul-gathering bowl. 18 levels of restrictions, the 1st level of refining. Qin Wang immediately entered the consciousness and started refining. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, the night passed, and at dawn, Qin Wang finally opened his eyes, with joy in his eyes and murmured. Finally it worked. After refining the 1st level of restriction. As long as the 1st level formula is refined, the soul can enter the soul-gathering bowl and take over the life and death of the soul in the soul-gathering bowl. Qin Wang's consciousness stirred. The soul-gathering bowl was enveloped, and the next moment, he found himself in a space with a radius of 100 feet. Outside the space was a mist that made it difficult to see clearly. There are more than 300 illusory figures floating in the space. A series of miserable screams and wailing sounds came. Relatively speaking, the figure transformed by Qin Wang's spiritual consciousness is more solid and full of brilliance than these illusory figures. I saw a distinctive figure appear in the space. In the space, more than 300 souls stopped screaming and wailing, and all looked at Qin Wang's figure. Several figures rushed forward and looked at Qin Wang with eyes split open. Qin Wang took a look and found that they were Zheng Kechong, Chen Kun, Ding Dian, Zhou Chohong and others. Haha, we are all old acquaintances. You should stay here well. I guarantee that you will not be reincarnated. The figure transformed from Qin Wang's consciousness looked at the illusory souls of Zheng Kechong and others, and smiled. Qin Wang's eyes flashed, and he smiled immediately when he saw Li Laosai shivering beside him. Old guy, I told you that I would dig your grave, pull out the body and whip it 800 times. It seems that I can do it in front of you if I have time. This Li Laosai is really vicious. He actually wants to sell himself to a big official, to be a prostitute. It's really evil. He must be deprived of life forever. After hearing Qin Wang's words, Li Laosai's eyes suddenly burst into tears, his teeth gnashed, and his soul trembled. Qin Wang glanced at the souls of these enemies in the Soul Gathering Bowl and exited the Soul Gathering Bowl space. I haven't read the information from the early hours of the morning. Qin Wang's heart moved and he immediately opened the panel. Daily Intelligence Refresh. Today's Intelligence. 1. You touched the Ice Mysterious Sword yesterday and obtained intelligence that the previous owner of the Ice Mysterious Sword was Bai Ling Fang. 2. You touched the 5 Elements Divine Light Jar yesterday and obtained intelligence that Jin Shifeng has returned to the Demon Slayer Alliance of Shouten Mountain and also sensed that the 5 Elements Divine Light Jar is in Qian Mountain through the Smelling Spirit Gu. He feels that he can't delay any longer and is ready to set off this morning to Qian Mountain to get the 5 Elements Divine Light Jar. 3. You refined the first layer of the Soul Gathering Bowl yesterday and obtained intelligence that the Soul Gathering Bowl is an ancient magic treasure whose spirit has been wiped out. 4. You set a trap in Qian Mountain and obtained intelligence that 1,000 feet underground under Qian Mountain is buried with an arm of a powerful demon from 10,000 years ago. 5. Because your spiritual fields and spiritual valleys were taken back by Zhao Haifeng, you obtained intelligence that the elder of the Foreign Affairs Hall, Zhao Yulong, will transport resources to the Spirit Medicine Gate today and ask to see Zhang Panpan. 6. You observed the broken sword yesterday and obtained information that the sword was cut off by Jin Wuming, a true disciple of the Heavenly Sword Sect. 7. You observed the Qingyu small sword obtained from old Madame Chen yesterday and obtained information that old Madame Chen's grandson Chen Yi made rapid progress in the cultivation of the Tai Sword Sect and was accepted as a direct disciple by the sect master Wan Zhanyi. 8. You opened the storage bag obtained from Qingyao Shengren yesterday and obtained information that Qingyao Shengren's Zhang Panpan, who was unsatisfied, entered the foundation building realm in the spiritual medicine sect yesterday and became a true person of foundation building. 9. You touched the soul-locking jade obtained from Zheng Kechong's hidden beauty land yesterday and obtained information that the mysterious woman's soul inside is the most savvy sword doctor in the history of the Wu family sword domain. She was trapped in the soul-locking jade because she was plotted against by her closest sister. 10. You used the rusty copper bowl yesterday and obtained information. If you want to resolve the rust on the bowl, you need to go to the witch clan to resolve the curse. Jin Shifeng is planning to leave for Qian Mountain this morning. Qin Wang looked at the second piece of information, thought for a moment, and immediately sorted it out and prepared to go out. Once Jin Shifeng found the hidden stone wall, he would definitely be able to trigger the monster-inducing psychedelic incense. At that time, the monsters near Qian Mountain would everyone will come crazy. A full psychedelic fragrance that lures monsters. The tide of beasts attracted would definitely crush Jin Shifeng to pieces. Especially that sniffing spirit Gu. Qin Wang knew that the sniffing spirit Gu was the reincarnation of the soul of Lord Gu. Such a powerful demon must crush it. Qin Wang was very curious. How to deal with the sniffing spirit Gu. The Soul Gathering Bowl is an ancient magic weapon whose spirit has been wiped out. Thousands of feet below Qian Mountain is an arm of a powerful demon from 10,000 years ago buried. Qin Wang looked at the third and fourth pieces of information with a thoughtful look on his face. The ancient magic weapon has been wiped out of its spirit. Currently, it only has the ability to absorb the souls of people who have just died nearby. As for other functions, we can only wait for the refining band to be explored. Under thousands of feet of Qian Mountain. With his current strength, he couldn't get down. Even if he practiced the art of escaping from the earth, it would be very difficult to get down 1,000 feet. Another thing is that an arm of a powerful demon from 10,000 years ago, it is not known whether there is any remnant of that powerful power in it. Don't think about it for now. I can only wait until I become stronger in the future to give it a try. The soul in the soul-locking jade is the most enlightened swordsman in the history of the Wu family sword domain. Qin Wang thought about this and reached into his storage bag. A piece of yellowed jade, 3 inches long and 1 inch wide, appeared in his hand. Qin Wang took a look, decided to come back at night to figure it out, and put it away immediately. Qin Wang packed everything up, locked the door, and prepared to wander around the outskirts of Qian Mountain to see the size of the beast tide before making plans, but he saw Gao Yuan and his daughter also preparing to go out. "Xiao Qin, are you going out?" Seeing Qin Wang going out with the shocking knife on his back, Gao Yuan smiled and said hello. "Yes, Uncle Gao, I'm going to wander around Qian Mountain to see if there are any magical herbs or herbs." Qin Wang looked at Gao Yuan and Gao Wenjing, his eyes flashed, and he asked, "Uncle Gao, are you going into the mountains too?" "Well, our demon hunting team lost several fellow Taoists, and fellow Taoist Yang was also seriously injured. Therefore, Jingjing and I can only hunt the little monsters outside Qian Mountain." Gao Yuan sighed. The team was attacked in the mountains last time and suffered heavy losses. Ouyang Long, who had the highest level of cultivation, was seriously injured. It would take at least half a year to recover. The demon hunting team was almost disintegrated. The journey to becoming an immortal is really difficult. Qin Wang also sighed and said suddenly, "Uncle Gao, I heard from someone from the Demon Slayer Alliance yesterday that there has been a tide of beasts in Qian Mountain in the past few days. You should pay attention to your safety." "Well, let's just walk around the perimeter." "Thanks for the reminder, Xiao Qin." Gao Yuan waved to Qin Wang and led Gao Wenjing towards the outskirts of Qian Mountain. Noon, 1 hour, Qian Mountain. The east wind ruffles the treetops. 10 miles away from the wild boar demon's lair, there is a hidden stone wall 30 feet away. An old man in black robes, about 50 years old, with money spots on his face, was hiding behind a big stone, holding an alms bowl. There was a snow silkworm in it, and its 2 tentacles were constantly expanding and contracting, pointing towards the stone wall ahead. "Is it there?" When the old man in black robe saw this, his eyes showed caution, and he tightened his grip on the blood spirit thorn in his hand. Previously shown in Secular, later shown in Shouten Mountain. Now it is displayed on the stone wall in front. Could it be said that the person who took away the 3-corpse Gu King jar is hiding in this stone wall? Jin Shifeng was silent for a while, placed the alms bowl on the ground, and spoke to the sniffing spirit Gu. "Baby, go over there and have a look." The snow silkworm seemed to be able to understand people's words, and immediately crawled out of the alms bowl and quickly crawled towards the stone wall. Not long after, snow silkworm climbed to that hidden stone wall and slowly climbed up. It climbed to a height of 1 person and saw a 3-foot-sized stone cave. It looked around at the entrance of the cave and followed the path. Got through the cracks in the stone. Not long after, the snow silkworm got out of the stone cave and lay down at the entrance of the stone cave. Facing Jin Shifeng, its 2 tentacles continued to expand and contract. In that cave, Jin Shifeng's eyes lit up, and he immediately walked towards the hidden stone wall that was taller than a person. When he came to the stone wall, he looked at the cave, took out the blood spirit thorn, and carefully picked out the stone blocking the entrance of the cave. Suddenly, he saw Risi Yi Zhang's 3-corpse Gu King jar. "It is indeed my 3-corpse Gu King jar. Finally lost and found." Jin Shifeng looked at the jar in the cave, which was his own jar of the 3-corpse Gu King. He was immediately overjoyed and used the blood spirit thorn to pick it out, only to find that there was an earth-colored hemp rope tied to the ears of the jar. "Why is it tied with a rope?" Jin Shifeng frowned and did not cut off the hemp rope immediately. The hemp rope tied to the jar was obviously unreasonable. Who would have put this treasure here and tied it with a hemp rope? Could it be that this is a trap set by others? Boom. At this moment, I suddenly heard a stone rolling down farther away, making a banging sound. Is there anyone nearby? Jin Shifeng held his breath and tightened his grip on the blood spirit thorn, alerting himself to an ambush and plotting against him. At the same time, he prayed that the falling stone would not alert any nearby monsters. Although he was at the 6th level of chi refining, the monsters nearby were comparable to those at the 4th or 5th level. He was not afraid of 3 or 4, but he could not withstand more, not to mention that he was still injured. But Jin Shifeng did not see it. A spark ignited under the stone in the distance, igniting a huge cloth bag below, which burned silently in an instant. Strangely, there was no smoke at all. Fortunately, the monsters were not alarmed. Jin Shifeng waited for more than 10 breaths and saw that no one appeared. Moreover, the falling stones did not alarm the monsters. He immediately cut the hemp rope on the 3 corpses Gu King jar, put away the sniffing spirit Gu, and prepared to leave. Hum, hiss, chew. At this moment, the earth shook, and a strange sound rang out all around. The howling of the black wild boar monster came, accompanied by the commotion in the jungle from all directions. The black wild boar monster, python monster, rabbit monster, armored monster, and monster bird swarmed in from all directions. Oh my god, so many monsters, why are they all coming for me? Jin Shifeng looked at the monsters that swarmed in an instant, and was immediately shocked, his soul flew away. Although he was at the 6th level of the chi refining stage, he did not dare to swagger in, and could only come in carefully, not to mention that his cultivation had not yet fully recovered. Now that monsters were rushing in from all directions, he immediately put away the 3 corpse Gu King jar and used the wind control technique to escape. But it was too late. The monster pythons, monster wild boars, monster rabbits, monster insects, armored monsters, and monster birds that rushed in from all directions were densely packed, as if they were crazy. In the distance, there were more, like a tide of beasts covering the sky and the sun. No matter how Jin Shifeng tried to avoid it, he was eventually overwhelmed by the monsters that covered the sky and the sun. No, Jin Shifeng screamed in fear and despair, and his body was torn to pieces and trampled into mud. At the same time, Qian Mountain, 20 miles away from the hidden stone wall where Qin Wang set an ambush trap. On a cliff, a tall, middle-aged monk with a big belly, carrying a long sword, hugged a pretty female monk who was about 30 years old and charming, very ambiguous. These 2 people were Zhao Haifeng and Lu Lan, who came to Qian Mountain to have fun. Lenore, the scenery here is beautiful, and there is a big crack on the cliff below. It must be exciting for you and me to have fun in that big crack. Zhao Haifeng's belly was so big that he couldn't see his toes. His eyes swept over Lu Lan's charming body and held her hand. Brother Feng, Lu Lan's voice was soft. Ah, why are there so many monsters rushing over? At this moment, Zhao Haifeng suddenly found that there were black masses of monster birds, monster beasts, and monster snakes in the distance, as if they were crazy. He was immediately scared to death, and his passion was extinguished on the spot. He spread his body and ran desperately towards Shouten Mountain. There was no time to care about Lu Lan. Brother Feng. Ah. Lu Lan had her eyes slightly closed, but when she realized something was wrong, she opened her eyes and found that Zhao Haifeng had left her behind and appeared 20 feet away, and under her feet, there were long and short demonic snakes everywhere. Demon birds in the sky. Lu Lan quickly used the wind control technique to escape towards Shouten Mountain, but it was already too late. Her figure was instantly submerged by demonic birds and snakes. Ah! Lu Lan let out a shrill scream, and instantly his body was gone. A quarter of an hour later, Zhao Haifeng climbed out of a wild pond 10 miles away from Shouten Mountain in embarrassment. He wiped the water from his face and looked at the densely packed monster beasts in the distance with lingering fear and trembling lips. The reason why he was able to save his life was because his cultivation was already at the 6th level of the chi refining stage, and he discovered the monster riot in advance. He used all his strength and consumed many defensive talismans in his storage bag to get into the wild pond to escape, and then he desperately escaped. Why did so many monsters suddenly appear? A tide of monsters. At this moment, Zhao Haifeng looked very ugly. Originally, Lu Lan proposed to do things in Shouten Mountain, but he felt that it would be more interesting to leave Shouten Mountain and go to the Wild Qian Mountain to have fun, without having to worry about being raped by Lulan's Taoist monks. Discover. After all, the attack power is higher in wild combat. No matter where you want it. How unlucky it was to encounter a beast tide. He was frightened just now, and his good things were interrupted, and he felt uncomfortable all over. Why did the beast tide suddenly appear? These demonic beasts, demonic birds, and demonic insects all seem to be going crazy. Why have there been so many beasts recently? Is there a demonic beast deep in Qian Mountain that is about to break through to the 3rd level? There was also a tide of beasts a few days ago. This time it was more violent than the last time. Could it be that they were going to attack our city? Oh my God, our leader went to Qian Mountain today. This. ... At this time, on the plain between Shouten Mountain and Qian Mountain, nearly 1,000 monks gathered, all looking at the tide of beasts in the direction of Qian Mountain, and talking about it. It is indeed a 10-part psychedelic fragrance that lures monsters. This power is much more powerful than last time. Jin Shifeng should have turned into mud, right? Qin Wang stood among the many monks, listening to the discussions of many monks, with anticipation in his eyes. So many monsters, people flying in the sky and people crawling on the ground swarmed up. That place would definitely be plowed over, and Jin Shifeng would definitely have no bones left. The 3-quartz Gu King jar is currently in the trap. It is an extraordinary treasure. These 1st and 2nd level monsters should not be able to break it. Qin Wang looked at the roars coming from the faint Qian Mountains in the distance, with a look of thought in his eyes. This is a place where countless monsters gather and trap, and they will definitely not leave for the time being. However, Qin Wang has a way. At that time, by creating another beast tide in another place, the monsters in the trap area can be lured away, and he can go there to find the 3-quartz Gu King jar. Further away, a man in his 30s, wearing colorful purple clothes and a mustache, stood on a small hill with his hands behind his back, looking at the beast tide in Qian Mountain in the distance, his brows furrowed deeply. What's happened recently? There's been a wave of beasts. Could it be that there are monsters inside that have broken through to the 3rd level? Don't let anything happen during these 5 years. Master Zixia looked at the shocking roar in the distance, her eyes full of worry. He was sent by the sect to guard this remote Shouten Mountain for 20 years. He has already guarded it for 15 years. He only needs 5 more years to successfully return to the Elixir sect. He also wants to return to the sect to practice as soon as possible. Who is willing to guard the monsters in this remote Shouten Mountain? More than 10 years ago, there was also a beast tide in Shouten Mountain. It was a monk who took the egg of a monster deep in Qian Mountain that was about to advance to the 3rd level. As a result, the monster advanced and brought hordes of monsters to attack Shouten Mountain. Danshan formation. But now, all the monsters in Qian Mountain are gathering in the middle of Qian Mountain. The monsters are gathering in one direction. The most likely reason is that some monsters have broken through to the 3rd level, which is comparable to the monsters in the foundation building stage. This is what worries him the most. Evening, Qin Wang returned to his cabin. No. 88. Xiao Qin, the beast tide has been abnormal recently, so we should try our best to go into the mountains as little as possible. Wen Jing and I are also planning to rent and plant more spiritual fields so that we can be more stable. Seeing Qin Wang come back, Gao Yuan, who was dealing with a demon rabbit at the door, gave a warning. Thank you, Uncle Gao, for reminding me. I try not to go to the mountains recently. Qin Wang was very grateful for Gao Yuan's kindness. At night, Qin Wang sat cross-legged on the bed, took the elixir, held the spirit stone in his hand, and began to improve his cultivation proficiency. At the same time, he took the time to practice the fire spirit knife, explosive flame technique, wind control technique, wooden shield technique and other spells. Early in the morning, information refreshed daily. Today's information. 1. The trap you set was triggered by Jin Shifeng yesterday, and information was obtained. Under the impact of the dense monster beasts, Jin Shifeng, who was on the 6th level of the Qi refining stage, was trampled into mud and died. 2. The trap you set was triggered by Jin Shifeng yesterday. Information was obtained. The sniffing spirit Gu, incarnated by Lord Gu, was trampled by a rhinoceros demon. The Gu's body was severely injured and broken. In panic and desperation, he got into the body of a black boar demon. Inside his body, he wanted to control the black boar demon to take away the 5 elements divine light jar, but he found that the black boar demon seemed to be crazy and uncontrollable. In the end, Venerable Gu fell into a long sleep in the black boar's body due to the weakness of his soul. What would happen unexpectedly? Fusion with the black boar demon, the 5 elements divine light jar was stepped into the soil a foot deep by the demon beast. 3. You watched the beast tide in Qian Mountain yesterday and received information that a pair of male and female demon rabbits deep in Qian Mountain are about to break through to the 3rd level. 4. The trap you set caused a great beast tide in Qian Mountain. We have obtained information that your enemy Zhao Haifeng was originally going to have an exciting outdoor battle with his mistress Lulan in Qian Mountain, but the beast tide you brought ruined his plan. Zhao Haifeng was suddenly frightened and became incapacitated from then on, losing the ability to continue to fight. 5. The trap you set caused a great beast tide in Qian Mountain. We have obtained information that your enemy Zhao Haifeng was originally going to have an exciting outdoor battle with his mistress Lulan in Qian Mountain. Zhao Haifeng escaped in a panic, and his mistress Lulan died from the kiss of the demon snake because Zhao Haifeng did not help her. No trace of her body was left. 6. The trap you set caused a great beast tide in Qian Mountain. We have obtained information that in the past, if a demon beast in Qian Mountain broke through the 3rd level, it would lead its own demon beasts to attack Shouten Mountain Market. Zixia Zhenren, who guarded Shouten Mountain Market, has been guarding Shouten Mountain for 15 years. He just wants to prevent a large-scale beast tide from attacking Shouten Mountain in the next 5 years. 7. You saw the Red Sun Divine Art in your storage bag yesterday. You got information that the thief Li Qian was on the edge of the beast tide of Qian Mountain. He was frightened by the beast tide and fled. He accidentally entered the mysterious cave and obtained the inheritance. His strength will advance by leaps and bounds. 8. The trap you set yesterday caused a large beast tide in Qian Mountain. You got information that Tang Zhangzhong, the leader of the Demon Slayer Alliance, was seriously injured and hid underground to save his life. 9. The trap you set yesterday caused a large beast tide in Qian Mountain. You got information that Yan Honghao, a casual cultivator, was hit and seriously injured by a rhinoceros monster. He accidentally integrated the opportunities he had obtained and used mysterious skills to absorb a large amount of monster blood. His physical strength soared and he successfully escaped. 10. You accidentally made Zhao Haifeng a person with Yang Decline yesterday. You got information that Zhao Haifeng will seek help from Dai Pengfei, one of the 2 great alchemists of the Alchemy Alliance, in the near future to seek medicine for strengthening sperm. Jin Shifeng is finally dead. Great. Qin Wang looked at the first piece of information, with surprise in his eyes. With the death of Jin Shifeng, he finally got rid of this opponent. Will the sniffing spirit Gu, incarnated by Gu Zun, merge with the black wild boar demon? It will become a wild boar demon in the end. Qin Wang looked at the second piece of information, with surprise in his eyes. This Gu Zun was a powerful demon of the generation, and he was reborn from the nirvana. I'm afraid he didn't expect that the final result would be like this, right? Zhao Haifeng was so scared that he couldn't do anything. This is good. Looking at the 4th and 5th pieces of information, Qin Wang's eyes showed satisfaction. Li Qian, he got another chance again. Qin Wang looked at the 7th piece of information and felt inexplicably shocked. This Li Qian is really unlucky. He met the fate of immortals last time, and he met the fate of immortals again this time. He received an inheritance, but I don't know what kind of inheritance it is. Tomorrow, get some more demon-inducing psychedelic incense to lure away the monsters there, and then go get the 5 elements divine light jar. Qin Wang thought to himself after reading the information. The next day, before Qin Wang could go out, there was a knock on the door. It turns out to be Manager Zhang. What orders do you have? Qin Wang opened the door and found that standing at the door were Manager Zhang Lingbu and a strange monk who were in charge of registering in the Foreign Affairs Hall. At this time, Manager Zhang held a book in his hand. It's like this. There have been frequent beast tides in Qian Mountain recently. Master Zixia is worried that there may be 3rd-level monsters deep in Qian Mountain that will come back, and he is preparing to strengthen the mountain protection formation. Therefore, each monk charges 10 spiritual stones. Zhang Lingbu said, unfolding the book in his hand and showing it to Qin Wang. Look, These monks have all handed over. After all, everyone is responsible for protecting Shaodan Mountain. Makes sense. Qin Wang nodded, rubbed his hands with a look of embarrassment on his face. Manager Zhang, it's like this. I haven't been in Shaodan Mountain for a long time, and the spiritual grains I planted haven't been harvested yet. Think about it, how about waiting for my spiritual grains to be harvested before making up for it? It's true that you've been here not long ago. How about you go find someone to borrow some? Think of a way. I also obey orders. If I don't hand over the spirit stone, I must be driven away from Shaodan Mountain. Zhang Lingbu looked at the time Qin Wang came in the book and frowned. The new monk was indeed poor. This, Manager Zhang, if not, I'll borrow some and bring them to you later. Qin Wang thought for a moment and said, there are indeed hundreds of spiritual stones in his storage bag, but this cannot be taken out. It's hard to explain at first. Secondly, be cautious, and it is still necessary to pretend to be poor. Well, you must borrow it, otherwise the patrolling monks of Shaodan Mountain will expel the monks who did not deliver the spiritual stones. Zhang Lingbu closed the book and led the strange monk behind him to knock on the high door next door. This Master Zixia uses this guise to collect spiritual stones. If there hadn't been a real beast wave, this spirit stone would have been a huge profit for him. Qin Wang looked thoughtful. Zixia Zhenren, who is collecting spiritual stones, has the potential to be a profiteer. These 10 spirit stones still have to be handed in, but it cannot be made so easy for Master Zixia. First prepare the medicinal ingredients for the psychedelic incense that lures demons and trigger the live latch, and then come back and hand over these 10 spiritual stones. Qin Wang made up his mind and went out. Morning, 10 o'clock. Qin Wang arranged a trigger movable bolt on a cliff between Shaodan Mountain and Qian Mountain, and also made an hourglass above the movable bolt. As long as the sand leaks down, the weight is enough to trigger the movable bolt and ignite the demon baiting fan. Fantasy fragrance. The time in the hourglass was enough for him to escape and make a big turn to the location of the 5 elements divine light jar. What he wants is to lure away the massive monsters near the 5 elements divine light tank. Then take the opportunity to get the treasure. It should be almost done. Qin Wang stood on a peak 20 miles away from Qian Mountain, looking at a cliff in the distance, waiting silently. Ouch! HMPH. Boom. Sudden. Waves of shaking of the earth and roars of monster beasts were heard, and then, densely packed monster beasts rushed toward a small cliff between Qian Mountain and Shaodan Mountain, almost as if they were going crazy. It's done. Qin Wang's eyes flashed, and he launched the wind control technique that he had just started to learn, and immediately galloped in the direction of Kengjin Shifeng. Why is there another riot among beasts? Oh my god, what happened recently? Monsters have been rioting frequently recently. It seems that there is no doubt that a 3rd-level monster will appear in Qian Mountain. Quick, 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 the mountain protection formation is about to open, let's hide in quickly. It's over. Fellow Taoist Niu went to Qian Mountain today and couldn't enter the formation. At this time, at the edge of Shaodan Mountain, the large formation had been opened, forming a khaki-colored light shield, tightly protecting Shaodan Mountain. Many demon hunting teams that were preparing to enter the mountain, including the Demon Slaying Alliance and the Dan Alliance, all retreated to the mountain protecting formation. They looked at the tide of beasts in the distance and were inexplicably shocked, and there were many discussions. I hope it's just a monster riot and not attack Shaodan Mountain. At the highest point of Shaodan Mountain, outside a cave, the real Zixia in Zixia robe was worried. 5 more years to go. He can return to the spiritual medicine sect to practice peacefully, successfully complete the guarding mission, and receive rewards from the sect. But there are waves of beasts appearing one after another. Although we haven't attacked the mountain protecting formation yet, who can guarantee that we won't attack the mountain protecting formation next time? Qian Mountain. Under a cliff, a young man in a green robe, holding a cold magic weapon sword, was hiding in the cracks of the cliff, watching the monster beasts all over the mountains and plains receding like the tide, with surprise in his eyes. Master, the monsters have retreated. He looked outside cautiously and whispered to a ring hanging on a rope on his chest. Well, we've all retreated for the time being. Go back to Fengshi quickly. It's too dangerous here. An old voice actually came from the ring. Yes, Master. Tang Zhonzhong looked respectful and immediately jumped out of the crack with his sword. The master's spiritual consciousness can see further. Disciple, my master's spirit has been seriously damaged and I cannot spy for too long. You should get that opportunity as soon as possible. If it doesn't work, don't give it up. Go to Qingyan Fairy City. This Shaodan Mountain is too small and lacks resources. It's not conducive to your growth, nor is it conducive to your teacher's recovery. The old voice came again. Yes, master. Tang Zhangzhong responded respectfully, spread out his body, and galloped towards Shaodan Mountain. Qian Mountain. Under a mountain peak on the edge. Under a green pine, there is a hidden cave. The tide of monsters has receded. It seems that I am really the darling of luck. I avoided the impact of the monster wave and unexpectedly entered a foundation-building cave. A thin, slovenly-looking young man with sinister features walked out of the cave and looked at the scorching sun outside with a look of satisfaction in his eyes. A few months ago, he was still hanging around in the secular world, but in the blink of an eye, he was getting opportunities one after another and embarked on the path of cultivating immortals. Go back to Shaodan Mountain first. Li Qian looked around and found no monster nearby, so he immediately galloped away in the direction of Shaodan Mountain. Deep in Qian Mountain. Why are all the monsters running away? I haven't had enough. A tall, mighty and burly young man looked at the demonic beast receding like a tide, showing doubts. The mummified rhinoceros demon in his hand fell to the ground. Yan Honghao frowned deeply. This time he was seriously injured by the rhinoceros demon, and unexpectedly fused with the immortality he had obtained. He could absorb the essence and blood of the demon beast and strengthen his body. Before he could fully recover from his injuries, he did not expect that the demon beasts had run away. Could it be that a third-level demon appears? Yan Honghao felt a chill in his heart and immediately galloped away into the distance. He knew it very well. Although he can absorb the essence and blood of monsters to strengthen himself, he can only absorb monsters that are weaker than himself. When he encounters a third-level monster, he cannot resist it. Oh my God, where do you start to find this? Qin Wang came to the place where Jin Shifeng was trapped, looked at the mess in front of him, and frowned deeply. He remembers. There used to be a remote stone wall here, but now, all the stone walls have been flattened, covering a 10-mile radius. Not to mention trees, even stones have been crushed. The ground was covered with blood, mud, plasma, and the broken bones and flesh of monsters. Not to mention finding the 5 elements divine light jar. There's actually an unexpected gain. This is happening. Qin Wang searched for the demon-inducing psychedelic incense within a 10-mile radius, but could not find the jar. However, he found many dying black boar demons, rabbit demons, snake demons, and spider demons 10 miles away. Qin Wang understood after looking at it for a while. These monsters are dying. It was all due to the tide of beasts caused by the psychedelic incense that lured monsters, causing them to be trampled and injured and on the verge of death. The second wave of monsters he arranged attracted all the monsters, and those who were not injured chased the monster-baiting psychedelic incense. Some people with missing arms or injured legs couldn't resist the fragrance, so they chased the demon-baiting psychedelic incense even if they were crawling on the ground, but they crawled slowly. Originally, Qin Wang was still regretting that he had spent nearly 100 spiritual stones to arrange the psychedelic incense to lure demons. Now, seeing so many dying demon boars, rabbits, and pythons, he felt relieved. If you take these back and sell them to the Demon Slayer workshop, how many spiritual stones can you earn? Thinking of this, Qin Wang immediately held a magical sword and walked towards a rhinoceros monster with only 3 legs. He stabbed it in the neck with a sword and the rhinoceros monster died on the spot. Qin Wang waved his hand and put the rhinoceros demon into his storage bag. The intelligence showed that the 5 elements divine light jar was stepped into the underground mud 10 feet deep by monsters. It was unrealistic to dig out all the 10 miles around. Qin Wang decided to stay here for one night and wait for the information to be refreshed. He would harvest something first. The intelligence showed that the 5 elements divine light jar was stepped into the underground mud a foot deep by monsters. It would be unrealistic to dig out the entire 10-mile radius. Qin Wang decided to stay here for one night and wait for the information to be refreshed. He would gain some insights first. Based on Qin Wang's 4th-level cultivation in the Qi refining stage. Coupled with the sharp magic weapon sword slaughtering the dying monster beast, there is simply no suspense. Half an hour later, There are too many, and I really can't fit them all in. Qin Wang stood on a rock, looked at his 2 storage bags, and sighed. He originally packed monster beasts one by one into the storage bag, but there was no room for them in the back, so he cut off rhinoceros horns, spider fangs, demon python venom sacs, fangs, and gallbladders that could be sold for spiritual stones. The meat of other monster beasts only took up space. Installed some. This moment, Qin Wang only hated himself for only having 2 storage bags. If I had known this, I would have bought another one in Shaodanshanfang City. It's better to take your time, the storage bags are valuable. With my qualifications as I just came to Shaodanshan, if I buy the storage bags immediately, I will definitely be inquired about. Qin Wang thought about it and felt relieved. With the psychedelic incense that lures monsters, there will be too many opportunities to lure monsters like this in the future. Currently, the monsters probably won't come back. Let's hide in that cave first, and then wait for the information to be refreshed in the early morning. Qin Wang searched for the trap for Jin Shifeng again, then went to a cave 10 miles away to hide and practice, absorbing spiritual stones to increase his cultivation proficiency, and waiting for the information to be refreshed at night. At the same time, in order to strengthen the intelligence of the 5 elements divine light tank, no other things were done. Time flies. Early in the morning. Information refreshed daily. Today's information. 1. You artificially arranged a tide of monsters, causing trampling damage by the monsters. We obtained information that the 3rd order monsters deep in Qian Mountain are very dissatisfied. We plan to come out to take a look after stabilizing our strength. 2. In order to find the 5 elements divine light jar, you arranged psychedelic incense to lure away the monsters and obtain information. The 5 elements divine light jar was stepped into the soil by the monsters and was located 1 foot below a black boar demon skull. 3. You arranged the monster tide yesterday and gained a lot. You obtained information. The monster materials you cut are worth 1,800 spirit stones. 4. The tide of beasts caused by the psychedelic incense you arranged to lure demons aroused the concern of Master Zixia. After obtaining information, the elixir sect behind Master Zixia decided to recruit a group of disciples with suitable spiritual roots in Shafang City under his command. In fact, it was to recruit miners to mine in the Tianyan Mountains. 5. The tide of beasts caused by the psychedelic incense you arranged to lure demons aroused the concern of Master Zixia. We obtained information that the Ziyang art practiced by Master Zixia was created by Shi Chenggen, who created the Ziyang Gong. 6. You have caused a tide of beasts. Master Zixia is very worried. After getting information, although the Ziyang Ju practiced by Master Zixia can help him successfully build the foundation, his mana will drop by half every night when the moon is full. When the moon is missing, time returns to its peak, and so on. 7. You have caused a tide of beasts and obtained information. The mountain protecting formation has been opened by Zixia Zhenren. The monks outside the formation cannot enter Shaodan Mountain. They are responsible for their own life and death. 8. You have caused a tide of beasts, and Master Zixia is very worried. After getting information, Master Zixia wants to refine a top-quality spiritual weapon, but he is short of money. He has made up his mind to become a casual cultivator. In the near future, he will set up a clever name to recruit casual cultivators of spiritual stones. 9. You have caused a tide of beasts, and Master Zixia is very worried. After receiving information, Master Zixia will go to spy around Shaodan Mountain in the near future. 10. You caused a tide of beasts in Qian Mountain and obtained information. Kanyan, the powerful arm of the devil under Qian Mountain, gradually awakened with the intention of breaking out. As the 3rd-level monster from the depths of Qian Mountain ready to come out. Qin Wang looked at the first piece of information and frowned deeply. I have to hide in Shaodan Mountain to practice. If I encounter a 3rd-level monster, I will definitely die. The 5 elements divine light jar is 1 foot below a black boar demon skull. Qin Wang looked thoughtful. He remembered that Jin Shifeng's trap was raised to the ground within a radius of 10 miles. There were many skeletons of monsters, including at least dozens of skulls of the black boar monster. Go find it now. Qin Wang knew that he had to hurry up. When the monster came back, it would be even harder to find. He immediately looked around cautiously. There was no sound around him, and there was only the bright moonlight in the sky. He was like a ghost, holding a magical sword in his hand and heading straight for the trap that encircled Jin Shifeng. Not long after, Qin Wang came to this bloody mud field with a radius of 10 miles, found the skull of the wild boar demon one by one, and dug down 10 feet. Time flies. Early morning. The morning sun rose, and golden light fell on Qin Wang's body. Qin Wang dug a full foot deep where the skulls of 18 wild boar demons were located, but still could not find the 5 elements divine light jar. But at this time, a bird song actually sounded in the sky. Isn't it the monster that has returned? Qin Wang was very anxious and the speed of his hands increased. He estimated that the medicinal effect of the demon-inducing psychedelic incense was almost over. Once the fragrance disappeared, those demonic beasts would inevitably return to their habitat. He estimated that the bird demon flew faster, followed by the monster crawling on the ground. When Qin Wang dug up 23 wild boar demon skulls. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of monster beasts running and roaring could be heard in the distance. Dig some more, if you still haven't found it, we'll have to talk about it later. Qin Wang took a deep breath and waved the sword in his hand like flying, causing the soil to fly. Boom. Suddenly, the sword in Qin Wang's hand shook and hit something hard. He peeled away the soil and immediately saw a flash of black. Finally found it. Qin Wang used his magical sword to dig around the black area, and finally the 5 elements divine light jar was revealed. He was overjoyed and put it away with a wave of his hand. Qin Wang jumped out of the pit, only to find dozens of calves a mile away. The black boar monster as big as a child is running towards me. Go quickly. Qin Wang's heart trembled, and he immediately spread out his body and galloped away in the opposite direction of the wild boar demon. The black boar demon behind saw Qin Wang and immediately gave chase. But Qin Wang's wind control technique unfolded, like a blue shadow, disappearing in an instant. An hour later, Qin Wang stood 10 miles away from Shaodan Mountain and saw that between Shaodan Mountain and Qian Mountain, the place where he placed the demon-inducing psychedelic incense had been razed to the ground, and it seemed that there were many corpses of monsters lying around. Around Shaodan Mountain, there are dozens of embarrassed monks crowded together. They are crowded outside the mountain protecting formation like ants on a hot pot, but the formation has been closed. Look, they had just escaped from the beast tide. They were still in shock. They were afraid that the beast tide would come again. They just wanted to join the battle to save their lives. They didn't even bother to pick up the corpses of the monster beasts left behind after the beast tide receded in the distance. Just when Qin Wang was thinking about whether to carry a few monsters back, a thin, slovenly-looking young man from afar came over and clasped his fists at Qin Wang. Fellow Taoist, can't you enter the mountain protecting formation? Yes, I was collecting herbs outside Shaodan Mountain yesterday. I didn't know that I encountered a monster that went crazy. I hid in a rock crevice and escaped with my life. I didn't expect that the mountain protection formation would not open when I came back. This is so untrue. I am also a member of Shaodanshan and I have made contributions. Qin Wang looked at the sloppy monk and pretended to be indignant. Fellow Taoist, you and I are in the same situation, but now the tide of monsters has finally receded. The sloppy young man looked at Qin Wang and asked suddenly, by the way, what do you call fellow Taoist? My name is Qin Titan, what do you call me fellow Taoist? Qin Wang said his pseudonym. Titan, what a good name. Call me Li Qiye. The sloppy young man grinned, showing his white teeth. Ah, Li Qiye. Qin Wang looked at this slovenly young man and was inexplicably shocked. This Li Qiye had appeared many times in the intelligence. Speaking of which, his Qiong magic was derived from this Li Qiye. Back in Yanyan County, he numbed Li Qiye with the incense of Bei Su Sangong and took away the magical power he had stolen so hard. It was a trick to him. Did not expect. I unexpectedly met Li Qiye in Shaodan Mountain. Right now, 2 more young men came over from a distance. Of these 2 people, one was tall, mighty and burly, with a faint aura of blood coming from his body. The other one was wearing a green robe, with a face like a crown of jade. His cultivation was unfathomable, and he exuded a terrifying aura. The Shaodanshan Mountain Protection Formation is not open. The young man in a green robe with a face like a crown of jade glanced at Qin Wang and Li Qiye, then glanced at Shaodan Mountain in the distance, narrowed his eyes, and walked forward. Fellow Taoist Qin, isn't my name a bit unusual? Seeing Qin Wang stunned, Li Qian smiled and said again. Because I was born at night, accompanied by a rare sight, the moon disappeared, so my father named me Li Qian. I didn't expect that fellow Taoist Li's name has such origins. This name is extraordinary, and he will be blessed with great fortune in the future. Qin Wang immediately clasped his fists and paid no hesitation. What auspicious words from fellow Taoist Qin. Li Qian clasped his fists at Qin Wang and expressed gratitude. Then he looked at the young man in green robes who was leaving and said, "Do you know, fellow Taoist Qin, who that fellow Taoist with a powerful aura just now is?" "I don't know, the aura on that fellow Taoist's body is so strong, he must be at least the 9th level of Qi refining stage, right?" Qin Wang shook his head to express his ignorance. "That fellow Taoist is Tang Zhangzhang, leader of the Demon Slayer Alliance. I heard he is a strong man who is about to build a foundation. It's really enviable to have such a strong cultivation level at such a young age." Li Qian looked at the back of the green-robed young man in the distance with envy in his eyes. He is the Tang leader of the Demon Slayer Alliance. No wonder. After hearing Li Qian's words, Qin Wang suddenly looked thoughtful. According to the information display, there is a mysterious grandfather in Tang Zhangzhang's portable ring. Fellow Taoist Li, that other powerful and burly young man has an extraordinary aura. Qin Wang looked at the tall and powerful young man who was not far from Tang Zhangzhang and was heading to the edge of the Shaodan Mountain formation, and said, "That one seems to be called Yan Honghao, right? His strength is not bad. I heard that he can't deal with the Demon Slayer Alliance." Li Qian looked at the tall young man and Tang Zhangzhang and frowned. Every time fellow Taoist Tang travels, there must be many members of the Demon Slayer Alliance following him. This time, he is actually alone. Could it be that he encountered a tide of beasts and died? This is very possible, Qin Wang agreed. Tang Zhangzhang, the old man, could escape from such a horde of beasts, but the other accompanying members of the Demon Slaying Alliance could not. At this time, then Tang Zhangzhang and Yan Honghao went to the edge of the Shaodanshan formation and wanted to enter the formation, but the formation did not open at all. At the rear, one after another, many monks who escaped from the beast tide came outside the formation. Most of them were injured and weak. There were also many brave monks who saw that the formation could not be opened. In addition, Shaodanshan and Kui, there are many monster beast corpses among the cloud mountains, so I simply went to pick them up. Fellow Taoist Qin, you see some people take risks to pick up the corpses of monster beasts. How about you and I pick up some? We can make a profit by selling them back. Li Qian saw a bold monk picking up the corpse of a monster and immediately invited Qin Wang to go with him. I think so too. After Qin Wang heard this, he hit it off with Li Qian and rushed towards the location of the demon-baiting psychedelic incense. Although his storage bag is filled with monster materials and monster meat, it can still be carried. Carrying a larger monster back will only cost dozens of spirit stones. Qin Wang picked up 3 demon rabbits and a black wild boar demon on his back, waiting outside the Shaodan Mountain formation. Li Qian carried a rhinoceros demon with 3 demon rabbits hanging on his body and stood with Qin Wang. I saw monks like Qin Wang and Li Qian picking up the corpses of monsters. More than 100 monks who were unable to enter the formation also joined the ranks of picking up monsters. The mountain protecting formation was finally removed in the afternoon. The monks who were outside were finally able to enter the market. These people are really a blessing in disguise. They picked up so many corpses of monsters one by one. They paid for this with their lives. If the beast tide comes, they will be dead. Makes sense. Seeing that more than 100 monks, Qin Wang and Li Qian, were carrying the corpses of monsters back with their hands and shoulders, the monks in the formation were envious and full of various thoughts. Many monks also ran out of Shaodan Mountain, hoping to pick up the leaks. Qin Wang returned to cabin No. 88. Gao Yuan and his daughter saw him coming back carrying a black boar demon with several demon rabbits hanging on his back, and their eyes suddenly showed shock. "Uncle Gao, this is for you." Qin Wang put down the black boar demon and handed a fat demon rabbit to Gao Yuan. "Xiao Qin, you can't do this. This uncle can't have it." Gao Yuan's vision, he declined again and again. "Uncle Gao, didn't you give it to me too?" Qin Wang didn't say anything and was sent directly to cabin No. 87. After all, Gao Yuan had given him meat and broth before, so he couldn't always eat other people's food. Uncle Gao was blackmailed by Zhao Xuanting into losing their spiritual stones to the demon python and black boar demon he picked up last time. Xiao Qin, you are too polite. Gao Yuanyuan couldn't refuse, so he had to accept it, and was extremely grateful to Qin Wang. Night. Gao Wenjing brought over a large bowl of stewed demon rabbit broth. The next 5 days, Qin Wang changed the identities of the monster materials and other things in the storage bag and took them to the demon slaughter shop to sell them, in exchange for a total of 1,780 spiritual stones. Including the 750 spiritual stones left by Zhao Xuanting, the former master of Qingyao, the total number of spiritual stones on his body reached 2,530. Qin Wang carefully got rid of the materials during the day. At other times, he absorbed the elixirs purified by the treasure bowl to improve his cultivation proficiency. His cultivation proficiency improved by leaps and bounds. This day, 3 p.m., Qin Wang bolted the door, sat cross-legged on the bed, looked at the proficiency of realm, Qi refining stage 4 3,998 4,000ths on the panel, continued to absorb the 2 spiritual stones in his hand, and took a purified soul-enriching pill. Bang! After an unknown amount of time, Qin Wang only felt a shock in his dantian, and a light sound rang in his mind. In an instant, he felt that his mental consciousness became more acute, and his spiritual consciousness suddenly expanded a lot, and he could see the scene around 2 feet outside his body. The dantian has doubled in size than before, and can accommodate more mana. Even the physical body has become more full of blood and qi. Realm, qi refining stage 5 1/5000th. Qi refining stage 5. Qin Wang looked at the display on the panel and his greatly increased strength, and his eyes showed satisfaction. In a short period of time, after his cultivation broke through the 5th level of qi refining, Qin Wang used the soul locking and breathing concealing method to lock his cultivation at the 3rd level of qi refining. In this way, in the eyes of the qi refining cultivators around him, his breakthrough from the 2nd level to the 3rd level of qi refining was not too noticeable. Qin Wang had just hidden his cultivation at the 3rd level of qi refining and was about to stabilize his cultivation when suddenly a familiar voice sounded outside the door. Hello, Manager Zhang. Qin Wang opened the door and saw that the person standing at the door was Zhang Lingbu, who came to collect the spirit stones last time. He immediately clasped his fists and greeted him. Xiao Qin, according to statistics, you used the beast tide to pick up a lot of monster corpses 5 days ago and sold them for a large amount of spirit stones, right? Zhang Lingbu held a book in one hand and a spirit pen in the other. When he saw Qin Wang, he immediately laughed and said, I did carry back a black wild boar monster and 2 monster rabbits, and sold them for dozens of spirit stones. Qin Wang clasped his fists and admitted that the black wild boar monster he brought back in public could not be concealed. It's like this. The beast tide was resolved by Master Zixia. Master Zixia spent a lot of energy to drive away the beast tide. Therefore, anyone who brought back the monsters this time needs to give half of their profits to compensate Master Zixia for her losses. Anyone who made spirit stones from the beast tide will have to give half. I hope you understand. Zhang Lingbu smiled and said, This is what I should do, Manager Zhang. I only made 60 spirit stones in total, so I gave him 30. Qin Wang cursed Master Zixia in his heart, but on the surface he still took out 30 spirit stones and handed them to Zhang Lingbu respectfully. This is necessary. Currently practicing in Shaodan Mountain, if you don't hand in the spirit stones, you will be expelled from Shaodan Mountain, which will be even more serious. Well, very good. Zhang Lingbu made a list behind Qin Wang's name, collected the spirit stones, and turned away. Intelligence shows that in order to refine the best spiritual tools, Master Zixia will collect spiritual stones under various pretexts in the near future. Sure enough, this fool is really not a human being. Let you, a fool, cut off my spiritual stones. My 30 spiritual stones are not so easy to get. I will give you a big gift first. Qin Wang looked at the cave at the highest point of Shaodan Mountain with a cold and murderous look in his eyes. How shameless. He said that he drove away the beast tide. It was obviously because the magic incense that tempted the monsters dissipated, and the monsters retreated on their own. Xiao Qin, good news. Just now Master Zixia issued a notice that the Shangzong spiritual medicine sect of Shaodan Mountain is recruiting disciples for its subordinates in Shafang City. You are young, you can go to the selection. At dusk, Gao Yuan knocked on the door and told Qin Wang some great news. Huh, really? When Qin Wang heard this, his heart moved. The intelligence showed that the elixir sect behind Master Zixia decided to recruit a group of disciples with suitable spiritual roots in Shafang City under his command. The purpose was actually to recruit miners to mine in the Tianyan Mountains. Be a miner, it's true. However, those who participate in the selection need to pay 10 spiritual stone registration fees to participate in the selection. If you are of the right age, you can try it. I'm going to let Jingjing try it too. After all, becoming a sect disciple is much better than being a casual cultivator in the city. Gao Yuan's eyes showed longing. All his hopes lie in his daughter Gao Wenjing. Uncle Gao is right. Let me consider it. Qin Wang nodded in agreement. Although he knew that the purpose of the spiritual medicine sect's recruitment of disciples was to recruit miners, but he could not refute Uncle Gao's kindness and directly said that the spiritual medicine sect was recruiting miners. Gao Yuan would ask, "How did you know and how do you explain it?" Gao Yuan warned him again and went back. His grandma's. Is this old guy Zixia Zhenren out of poverty? He also took advantage of the opportunity to recruit miners. The registration fee is 10 pieces of spiritual stone per person. How much will he charge now? Qin Wang pondered Gao Yuan's news with a thoughtful look in his eyes. Regardless of whether Master Zixia can be selected successfully or not, these 10 spiritual stones are just the registration fee, which fully demonstrates his traitorous nature. Do as he does. I still don't know how many spiritual stones I will collect later. The elixir sect's recruitment of disciples to be miners this time was a bit of a scam, and being tricked by Master Zixia made it even more of a scam. Although, as long as I absorb spirit stones, I can increase my cultivation proficiency. If I break through my cultivation and go to the spirit stone mine, I can encounter more spirit stones. However, I have an intelligence panel. The better way to earn spiritual stones is to be stable. There is no need to be a miner. Qin Wang stood in the room, thinking secretly. He also wanted to go to the sect to practice peacefully, but not to be a miner. Early in the morning, information refreshed daily. Today's information. 1. Master Zixia has harvested the 30 pieces of spiritual stones you have worked so hard to earn, and obtained information. Master Zixia has gone crazy because of poverty. He is thinking about how to use the spiritual medicine sect to transport his disciples flying boats through Qingyan Fairy City and make a fortune. Fairy fair. 2. You are dissatisfied with Master Zixia for depriving you of 30 spiritual stones. After obtaining information, Master Zixia went to the outskirts of Qian Mountain yesterday to inquire about it. He sensed that there were third-level monsters in the mountains. He is now very worried. Once a monster occurs, there were too many tides, or the mountain guarding formation was destroyed by the beast tide, affecting the operation of Shaodan Mountain. The elixir sect would think that he was not guarding it well, and would deduct a large number of contribution points and increase the number of years of guarding, seriously affecting his path. 3. You despise Zixia Zhenren, who has the potential to be a profiteer. After receiving the information, the selection of Shaodanshan disciples of the elixir sect will begin tomorrow. 4. You talked with Gao Yuan and obtained information. Gao Yuan decided to let his daughter Gao Wenjing participate in the selection of elixir sect disciples. 5. You despise Master Zixia, who has the potential to be a profiteer. According to information, Master Zixia once discovered a cave for fake alchemy monks. He plans to go back and open the cave after guarding Shaodan Mountain for 20 years. Get opportunities. 6. Because you wore the mysterious fragments and obtained information, your consciousness is about 10% higher than the 5th level of the ordinary qi refining period. 7. Because you wore the mysterious fragment and obtained information, the mysterious fragment closest to you was rejected by Tianbao Pavilion in Qingyan Fairy City and returned to the hands of a cultivating family in Qingyan Fairy City. 8. You killed Jin Shifeng and obtained information. The body of the sniffing spirit Ji incarnated by Lord Ji was shattered and the soul was scattered. In order to save your life, you had no choice but to merge with the black boar demon that possessed you. In the future, you will grow into a weird pig monster. 9. You stroked the black broken sword and obtained information. This sword is the spiritual sword used by the monk Chuanying in the foundation building period. Chuanying was cut off during a fight with Jin Wuming, a true disciple of the Heavenly Sword Dao sect, and the tip of the sword was shed with fire. Fairy City. 10. You set up traps, killed the monsters in Qian Mountain, and obtained information. The powerful demonic arm under the 1,000 feet of Qian Mountain will awaken in the future. When it breaks out of the ground, it will absorb the monsters and monk spirits nearby. The blood replenishes the power, causing shocking killings. Junjun Zixia wants to use the elixir sect to transport his disciples' flying boats and earn a fortune in fairy fees. This old guy doesn't want to be a businessman. He's really underachieving. Qin Wang looked at the first piece of information and was speechless. In order to earn spiritual stones, Master Zixia went to great lengths. Is this old guy worried that Shaodanshan will be punished by the elixir sect if it affects the development of Shaodanshan due to the frequent beast tides? Hehehehe. Qin Wang looked at the second piece of information, and the corner of his mouth curved. Peel me 30 spiritual stones. Do you still want to guard Shaodan Mountain safely? Dream. At that time, Shaodan Mountain will be visited by beasts every day, which is extremely dangerous. Which individual cultivator will come to Shaodan Mountain to practice? If things go on like this, Shaodanshan will inevitably decline. The elixir sect will only think that Zixia's poor guarding is the result and punish him. Fake Alchemy Palace. This old guy's chances are not small. Qin Wang looked at the fifth piece of information with a thoughtful look in his eyes. I have to continue to study the Black Broken Sword to see if I can get the information about the spiritual formula. If I can get the information about the spiritual formula, I will have a killer. Qin Wang looked at the ninth piece of information and secretly looked forward to it. Will the arm of the great demon in the underground of Qian Mountain awaken in the future? When it breaks out of the ground, will it absorb the blood of monsters and cultivators nearby to replenish its power? Cause a shocking killing disaster. Qin Wang looked at the 10th piece of information and was shocked and jumped up. According to this, the arm of the great demon replenishes its power nearby, so the cultivators of Shaodan Mountain are doomed. If I am in Shaodan Mountain, how can I survive if the nest is destroyed? I don't know how long it will take for the arm of the great demon to break out of the ground, but no matter what, I have to find a way to leave Shaodan Mountain as soon as possible. Qin Wang's heart trembled. When the arm of the great demon is unearthed in the future, the first to suffer is Shaodan Mountain Market. I must leave as soon as possible. Another thing is that Shaodan Mountain is a small immortal cultivation market in Dakang country. As my cultivation level gradually improves, I can no longer be satisfied. If I want to go higher and further, I must go to Qingyan Immortal City, which is at a higher level. Wait until dawn, find an uninhabited place on the edge of Shaodan Mountain, and light 5 sets of luring monster psychedelic incense. At that time, the monsters of Qian Mountain will come to attack the mountain protection formation. Let's see how the old man Zixia Zhenren will deal with it. If you cut me 30 spirit stones, I will let you be punished by the spirit medicine sect. Qin Wang murmured. Zixia Zhenren is too treacherous and hateful. Recently, the rent of casual cultivators has increased, and the mountain protection formation needs to collect spirit stones for reinforcement. He wants to take away half of the spirit stones that I have earned by picking up monsters outside. It is best to make him lose a wave. The reason why I didn't choose the early morning. It is to give other casual cultivators in Shaodan Mountain a chance to prepare. He is targeting Zixia Zhenren. During the day, Zixia Zhenren must open the formation and attack at the same time when facing the beast tide. So, Qin Wang did not use 10 portions of the psychedelic incense, but controlled the amount to 5 portions, so that the small beast tide came every day, and the monks of Shaodan Mountain could not go out. When the news spread, it would inevitably attract the top leaders of the spiritual medicine sect. The sky gradually turns white. Qin Wang walked out of his hut and headed towards the Shaodanshan scrapyard. The scrapyard is where many monks and shops in Shaodan Mountain discard sundries. Qin Wang plans to throw the demon-inducing psychedelic incense in the scrapyard so that it does not attract attention. On the street, monks would go straight to Qian Mountain from time to time. Yidanwei, Wanfa Tower, Lingdanfang, Demon-slaying Fang, etc. are not open yet. Not long after, Qin Wang came to the scrapyard and threw 5 pieces of the demon-luring psychedelic incense into the scrapyard. With a flick of his finger, a dove egg-sized explosive fire bomb was shot into the demon-luring psychedelic incense and slowly burned. Qin Wang quickly left the scene. Shaodan Mountain, the top of the mountain. Although this Ziyang technique can help break through the foundation building, its shortcomings are also troublesome. When the guard period expires and you return to the sect, you must change the technique. The real Zixia, wearing colorful purple clothes, sat cross-legged in the cave on the top of the mountain and slowly opened his eyes. The Ziyangju was a great opportunity that he got by chance. Relying on this Ziyangju, he finally set foot on foundation building. However, the disadvantages were also great. Whenever the moon was full, his mana dropped by half. If he encountered the same level of revenge, then it's over. Is this a beast tide? Why are you here again? Suddenly, Master Zixia sensed waves of earth shaking coming from the direction of Qian Mountain. He immediately flashed and his sword flew out of the cave and appeared above Shaodan Mountain. He looked at the sky more than 10 miles away from Shaodan Mountain. There was a torrent of black, and his brows suddenly furrowed deeply. These are all densely packed with monsters. Today is the 8th day of the lunar month. His cultivation level is gradually declining. But the beast tide is coming again. Zixia Zhenren reached out and touched the storage bag, and a cyan formation flag appeared in his hand. As the guardian of Shaodan Mountain during the foundation building period, he controlled the formation flag that opened the mountain protecting formation. As he waved his hand, the formation flag in his hand suddenly flew up and landed at the center of the mountain top. In the flash of green light, a green light curtain suddenly rose up from the top of the mountain. This light curtain rapidly extending down the mountain. In just a few dozen breaths, the entire Shaodan Shanfang city was enveloped by the formation's light curtain. Oh my god, the mountain protecting formation has risen. No, a tide of beasts. A tide of beasts is coming towards Shaodan Mountain. What's going on recently? Why are there so many beasts every day? Can the Shaodan mountain protection formation be able to withstand it? There is a tide of beasts almost every day. How can we go out to hunt monsters from now on? From what I can see, I'm afraid a 3rd-level monster appears deep in Qian Mountain. It was the same way more than 10 years ago. The mountain protecting formation of Shaodan Mountain was raised, and someone suddenly noticed that more than 10 miles away, densely packed monster beasts were rushing towards Shaodan Mountain. Many monks took out their magical weapons, looked worried, and talked a lot. Qin Wang stood among the many monks and watched the densely packed black wild boar demons, rhinoceros demons, saber-toothed tiger demons, rabbit demons, and python demons attacking Shaodan Mountain's large array of light shields. He saw it clearly. Every time those monsters hit the light shield, the protective array light shield flashed with blue light and returned to its original state. Old guy, I want you to cut my spiritual stone, and I'll give it to you once a day. Qin Wang stood among the many monks, with joy in his eyes. As far as he knows, this protective array is very powerful and can block 3rd-level monsters. Every time these small monsters attack and gnaw, they can also slowly consume the spiritual energy of the large array. Over time, the spiritual stones consumed are absolutely terrifying. Master Zixia can let the monks from Shaodanshan share the money. Once or twice is no problem, but if there is a tide of beasts every day, split it up every day. At that time, the casual cultivators in Shaodanshan will not be able to bear the burden and will feel that they cannot stay in Shaodanshan any longer. They will leave one after another and go to other Shushanfang cities. Shaodan Shanfang City will decline and be abandoned. Shaodan Shanfang City is one of the 3 major cities under the spiritual medicine sect. If it declines in the hands of Master Zixia, it will be blamed. Therefore, Master Zixia must take action as soon as possible to deal with the beast tide. Xiao Qin, don't go out of Shaodan Mountain recently. I think the tide of beasts that happen every few days is too dangerous. At this moment, Qin Wang's neighbor Gao Shu came over and warned Qin Wang. His rough face showed deep concern. If you can't go out, you can't hunt monsters. How can you lay the foundation for collecting spiritual stones for your daughter? Uncle Gao, I know. Qin Wang looked grateful. He knew that Gao Yuan was really worried about him. Fellow Taoist Qin, here's another opportunity for you and me to make a lot of money. Suddenly, a slovenly, wretched young man came over and said to Qin Wang. Fellow Taoist Li, in my estimation, it might be a bit difficult. Qin Wang turned around and saw that it was Li Qiye who had picked up the corpses together. He immediately shook his head. He knew in his heart that with Zixia's character as a profiteer, he would not let go of these monster corpses. I don't think it's difficult. I've seen that a lot of monster beasts have been trampled to death. When the tide of monsters recedes, can we rely on the patrols of Shouten Mountain to clean up the corpses of the monster beasts? You still have to rely on casual cultivators. Even if Master Zixia takes half of it, we can still earn at least dozens of dollars. Li Qiye rubbed his hands. That's true. Qin Wang glanced at Li Qiye. Apparently, Li Qiye was ready to receive half of the proceeds from Zixia Zhenren. Now, densely packed monster beasts collided and gnawed outside the light shield, knocking out and trampling countless of them. Time flies. In a blink of an eye, it was the next morning. Outside the Shaodanshan Mountain Protection Formation, the corpses of monster beasts piled up like mountains. The beast tide still stood outside the formation, as if they were crazy, trying to attack Fang City. What's going on? It's been a day and a night, and the beast tide still hasn't receded. Zixia Master's sword flew up and came to the edge of the protective formation. He saw that the plain outside Shouten Mountain was full of monsters. He frowned deeply. He was not afraid of first and second level monsters, but the full moon was still only a few meters away. God, his mana is gradually declining, and he must maintain his strength to prevent the third level monsters from Qian Mountain from attacking. The tide of beasts attracted by Qin Wang's demon-inducing psychedelic incense trapped Shouten Mountain for a day and a night before receding. Qin Wang, Li Qiye, Gao Yuan and other casual cultivators all went out to clean up the corpses of the monsters. As expected, Master Zixia stepped up his efforts and collected 80% of the proceeds, saying that it was for consumption of the mountain protecting formation. Many casual cultivators had no choice but to hand over 80% of the spiritual stones were obtained. Qin Wang carried the corpses of monsters several times, deducting 80% and earning 50 spirit stones. These 50 spiritual stones, excluding the 25 spiritual stones that cost 5 copies of the demon-baiting psychedelic incense, are considered a pocket gain of 25. With these 25 spiritual stones, you can buy 5 more copies. Qin Wang stood at the door of Demon Slayer Square, with a slight curve in the corner of his mouth. That night, early in the morning, Qin Wang dropped 3 copies of the demon-inducing psychedelic incense at the scrapyard. Master Zixia once again activated the formation and called on all casual cultivators to be ready. The second tide of beasts took another day and night to recede. After the beast tide receded for a long time, Qin Wang dropped 3 more monster-baiting psychedelic incense, attracting the beast tide. This goes back and forth, making Zixia a real person miserable. Yulong, do all the casual cultivators in Fangxi want to leave now? More than a month later, Master Zixia looked haggard, standing in front of the main hall at the highest point of Shouten Mountain, looking gloomily at Zhao Yulong, the elder of the Foreign Affairs Hall in front of her. Shenren, in the past month, there has been an influx of beasts every day. Those casual cultivators are unable to go out to hunt monsters and are still scared. Most of the casual cultivators feel that Shouten Mountain is no longer suitable for cultivation. They are planning to go to the nearest Jindaofang city. There are still rumors, say. Zhao Yulong looked respectful and did not dare to look at the real person Zixia. He also did not dare to speak out the rumors. I was worried that if I told him, the real person would be so angry that he would kill himself with the palm of his hand. Say what? Master Zixia narrowed her eyes, and the powerful momentum of the foundation establishment stage came over her. Zhao Yulong felt like he was going to crawl to the ground. Explain. Zhao Yulong's body was trembling and he said, the reason for this beast tide is that when you, the real person, went into the mountain to spy, you disturbed the eggs of a pair of third-level monsters, golden-backed eagles, in Qian Mountain, which caused frequent beast tides. You also said that the pair of third-level monsters were about to attack Zhaoshan. Danshanfang City. What? Did I touch the golden-backed eagle's eggs? Did it cause a wave of beasts? What fool spread rumors and wrongfully accused me? When Master Zixia heard this, she was so angry that she trembled all over. I have been guarding Shaodanshan for 15 years, working diligently and hard without any credit. Frequent beast tides occurred this month, causing Shaodanshan to complain. He must have been able to hide it from the sect. He was already prepared to be punished, but now it was revealed that the frequent beast tides were due to him provoking a pair of third-level gold. The bat carving forced Xiaodanshan's casual cultivators to leave and go to Jindaofeng City under Ba Daomen. He couldn't afford the crime of bringing down the guard at Xiaodanshan. Real person, the news just came out, I don't know who it is at the moment. Zhao Yulong remained silent and said worriedly. Chapter 91. Check it for me. You must find it out. Zixia Zhenren's eyes burst with murderous intent. He knew in his heart that he had indeed gone to Shaodan Mountain to inquire several times, but he had never encountered any third-level golden-backed eagle. It was completely false to say that he had taken the eggs of a third-level golden-backed eagle. It was pure rumor. Yes, Uncle Master. Disciple will check it immediately. Zhao Yulong was silent, took 3 steps back, and then turned and went down the mountain. In fact, he didn't dare to say another piece of news. He was worried that if he said it, Zixia Zhenren would really beat him to death. He had just returned from sending resources to Lingyaomen and heard this news. Dare to spread rumors about me behind my back. If I catch you, I won't be surnamed Mu if I don't pull out your 9 clans and destroy them. Zixia Zhenren watched Zhao Yulong leave, his chest burning with anger. If he had the strength to crush the third-level monsters in Qian Mountain, he would directly kill the third-level monsters in the depths of Qian Mountain and protect the safety of Shaodan Mountain. He was not afraid of this rumor. But the key is that he doesn't have the strength. Now, the rumor that Zixia Zhenren provoked a pair of third-level golden-backed eagles and caused a beast tide has spread, and he has become the sinner who caused the beast tide. He can't bear the punishment of spreading it back to the sect and destroying a sect market. Hut no. 88. The news has spread, let's see if you, old thing, will go crazy. Qin Wang sat cross-legged on the couch, looking out the window, with a curve at the corner of his mouth. 1 month. He created beast tides of varying sizes every day, and the mountain protection formation was always open. Many casual cultivators in the market could not go out to practice hunting monsters to obtain resources. They all complained and prepared to go to the nearest Jindao market, or to the larger Qingyan Immortal city. In the early morning of this day, Qin Wang spread the news that Zixia Zhenren took the eggs of the third-level golden-backed eagle and caused a beast tide, and it quickly spread in the market. Dong dong dong. Suddenly, a knock on the door sounded. Uncle Gao, come in and sit down. Qin Wang waved his hand to put the things in front of him into the storage bag, went to open the door, and found that it was Gao Yuan standing outside the door, and immediately called Gao Yuan in. Xiao Qin, there is a rumor in the market now that Xiaodanshan market can no longer stay. Many familiar Taoist friends are going to Qingyan Fairy City. I am also going to go. Otherwise, you will go with us. Gao Yuan looked at Qin Wang and said, Okay, Uncle Gao, when are you leaving? Qin Wang was just thinking about leaving Xiaodanshan, and the powerful arm of the demon under the 1,000 feet of Qian Mountain was unknown when it would come out. It would be great to have someone accompany him to Qingyan Fairy City. It's just these few days, so it's settled. You prepare yourself, and I'll notify you when the time comes. Gao Yuan stood up and left. Okay, Uncle Gao. Qin Wang agreed and sent Gao Yuan out. Also, it may not be a bad thing that you didn't participate in the selection of Lingyaomen disciples. I just got the news that Lingyaomen is recruiting disciples this time, in fact, to recruit minors. Many of those selected casual cultivators have the intention to quit after hearing the news. Gao Yuan walked to the door, as if he remembered something, and turned around and said again. No wonder Lingyaomen doesn't want female cultivators this time. Qin Wang laughed in his heart and said, Uncle Gao's daughter Gao Wenjing was not selected because they didn't recruit female cultivators. He also released the news about the miners in the early morning. This time, Xiaodanshan recruited 200 miners and casual cultivators. It is estimated that many of them backed out, which is enough to make Zixia Zhenren depressed for a while. Qingyan Fairy City. Qin Wang looked at Gao Yuan's back, with a thoughtful look in his eyes. He had heard about Qingyan Fairy City in Xiaodanshan. It was a huge fairy city located between the 3 countries of Dakang, Dawei and Dachu. This fairy city gathers the strong men from the 3 great countries, as well as independent cultivators and families. This fairy city is 10 times more prosperous than Shaodan Mountain. Cultivating in Qingyan Fairy City can also go further. Shaodan Mountain cannot stay, Qingyan Fairy City is the best place. The top of Shaodan Mountain. Zixia Zhenren stood at the door of the cave, looking at Zhao Yulong in front of him with a sullen face, and asked, "Who said that the disciples recruited this time are actually going to the Tianyan Mountains to mine? And said that my Ziyangju can increase the chance of building a foundation?" "Uncle Master, the disciple is investigating." Zhao Yulong bowed and spoke. Facing Zixia Zhenren, Zhao Yulong felt frustrated and helpless. He and Zixia Zhenren were in the same batch of entry, but Zixia Zhenren had built a foundation, and he was still in the 9th level of the qi refining stage. Strength is respected. He still has to call his former junior brother uncle. How aggrieved. He believed the news exposed by this mysterious person 7 points, because Zixia Zhenren Mugen's spiritual roots are similar to his, but Mugen successfully built a foundation. This shows. It is the power of the Purple Sun Art. If he gets the Purple Sun Art, he may also be able to build a foundation. Zhao, nephew, announced to the public that there have been frequent monsters recently, and block the Shaodan Mountain formation. Zixia Zhenren's eyes were gloomy. He had heard that the people of Shaodan Mountain were in a panic and wanted to leave. They could only find an excuse to block the formation first. Yes, Zhao Yulong agreed respectfully and turned away. Who is this person? How does he know that my Lingyao sect is recruiting disciples this time to fill the miners? He also knows that my Purple Sun Art helps build a foundation. Is he the same person who spread rumors about me? What is his purpose? Zixia Zhenren frowned deeply. The news that the Purple Sun Art helps with foundation building has been revealed. I don't know how many people are planning to do this. Although the mana will drop by half when practicing the Purple Sun Art on a full moon, it is still the foundation building stage. It is enough to drive many qi refining stage 9 crazy. This matter must not be ignored. The hut of casual cultivators. No. 88. In the early hours of the morning, Qin Wang sat cross-legged, his eyes lit up, and the panel was refreshed. Daily information refresh. Today's information. 1. You have caused the beast tide of Shaodan Mountain for a month, causing panic among the people of Shaodan Mountain. We have obtained information that Master Zixia is worried about the severe punishment of the sect after the collapse of the Shaodan Mountain market. He hates the person who exposed and spread rumors about him. He secretly vowed to find this person and exterminate his entire clan and grind his bones to ashes. 2. Gao Yuan invited you to Qingyan Immortal City. We have obtained information that Gao Yuan is ready to take you to Qingyan Immortal City with his elder brother Wu Yanglong and other cultivators. 3. You exposed the weakness of Zixia Zhenren's skills and obtained information. In order to prevent the selected miners from escaping, Zixia Zhenren used the excuse of the beast tide to close the Shaodan Mountain protection formation and prohibited the cultivators from leaving Shaodan Mountain. 4. You touched the black broken sword and obtained information. A jade slip on Zhao Xuanzhen's body has a great relationship with the broken sword. 5. You touched the black broken sword and obtained information. Zhao Xuanzhen of the Demon Slayer Alliance felt that there was little hope to stay in Shaodan Mountain and was ready to follow the leader of the Demon Slayer Alliance, Tang Zhangzhang, to Qingyan Immortal City. 6. You exposed the news that Ling Yaomen was recruiting miners to recruit disciples. You obtained information. Of the 200 disciples recruited by Ling Yaomen in Shaodan Mountain, nearly half did not want to be miners and wanted to quit, and nearly half still wanted to join Ling Yaomen. Even if they were miners, they were disciples of the sect. 7. You exposed Zixia Zhenren's technique, Ziyangju, which is helpful for building a foundation, and obtained information. Zhao Yulong has never been able to build a foundation. He really wants to get the Ziyangju in Zixia Zhenren's hands. 8. You exposed Zixia Zhenren's technique, Ziyangju, which is helpful for building a foundation, and obtained information. Many cultivators in the 9th level of qi refining in Shaodan Mountain covet the Ziyangju, but are afraid of Zixia Zhenren's powerful cultivation, just like a pack of hyenas surrounding a lion. 9. You triggered the beast tide in Shaodan Mountain for a month in a row, and obtained information. The 3rd level monster Firebird in the depths of Qian Mountain is ready to lead 2 3rd level monster rabbits and 2 3rd level golden-backed eagles to destroy the Shaodan Mountain market. 10. You promised Gao Yuan to go to Qingyan Fairy City, and obtained information. 5 3rd level monsters will blast through the Shaodan Mountain formation in 3 days. Noon 3 days later is the only chance for the cultivators of Shaodan Mountain to escape from Shaodan Mountain. Zixia Zhenren wants to block Shaodan Mountain. 3 days later, 5 third-level monsters will come to destroy Shaodan Mountain's formation. 3 days later at noon, it is the only chance for Shaodan Mountain's cultivators to escape from Shaodan Mountain. Qin Wang looked at the information and felt a chill in his heart. At present, Zixia Zhenren has blocked Shaodan Mountain, and there is no way out. 3 days later at noon, 5 third-level monsters will destroy Shaodan Mountain's formation. It is the only chance for Shaodan Mountain's cultivators to escape from Shaodan Mountain. At that time, leaving from the entrance of Shaodan Mountain is the best choice. Junjun Zixia, this old guy. In order to prevent the selected minor disciples from escaping, they actually blocked the formation under the pretext of preventing a beast tide. It seems that we have to wait 3 days. Qin Wang frowned deeply. Zixia Zhenren Mu Zhen's cultivation is in the foundation building stage, and he also controls the formation. As a monk in the qi refining stage, there is really no way to escape from his hands. The entrance to Shaodan Mountain. Qin Wang remembered. Hu Shihan and Ding Feng were guarding that place at first, but I don't know who they are now. However, since the formation is sealed, they will definitely not be able to get out now. Is there a big connection between a jade slip on Zhao Xuanzhen's body and a broken sword? Is he planning to follow Tang Zhangzhang, leader of the demon-slaying alliance, to Qingyan Immortal City? Qin Wang looked at the 4th and 5th pieces of information with a thoughtful look in his eyes. It seems, you should pay more attention to this Zhao Xuanzhen. Qin Wang couldn't sleep at all when he learned that 5 third-level demonic beasts would break through the Shaodanshan formation in 3 days, and that the old man Zixia Zhenren had blocked the formation. He directly swallowed the qi building pill and started to increase his proficiency in cultivation with 2 spiritual stones in hand. Ever since wearing this mysterious fragment, Qin Wang found that his energy was getting better and better. Now he only needed to sleep for 1 hour a day to feel full of energy. Xiao Qin, it's over. I just got the news that due to frequent beast tides, Master Zixia ordered the formation to be sealed and no monks are strictly prohibited from leaving Shaodan Mountain. Noon. Qin Wang was still practicing. Suddenly, Gao Yuan knocked on the door with a worried look. Uncle Gao, do you have any other ideas? Qin Wang looked at Gao Yuan and asked. The eldest brother of his demon hunting team, Yang Long, is said to be so powerful that Tang Zhangzhang, the leader of the demon-slaying alliance, is afraid of him. Maybe there is a way. Hey, there is none at the moment. Gao Yuan sighed. With the methods of eldest brother Yang Long, there is nothing he can do. Master Zixia controls the formation. Without his consent, no ants can get out. Qin Wang thought of the information he had obtained and said to Gao Yuan with worry in his eyes. Uncle Gao, there have been frequent beast tides recently. Will there be a 3rd-level monster attacking Shaodan Shanfang City? I'm really worried. You're not afraid of this even if you have it, right? Master Zixia is a real person in the foundation building stage, and there is a mountain guard formation that can block 2 or 3 third-level monsters. Gao Yuan shook his head and said, but what if there are 5 or 6 third-level monsters coming? Can they be stopped? After all, this tide of beasts is too weird. Since Shaodanshan can't stay, we have to make plans early. Uncle Gao, if a 3rd-level monster attacks Fangxi, from which direction will it attack? Qin Wang looked thoughtful and made a hypothesis. It should be in the direction of Qian Mountain. Once the formation is breached from there, the entrance to Shaodan Mountain is the safest. From there, quickly go to the world of Dakang, and then to Qingyan Immortal City. Gao Yuan said in a deep voice. At the entrance of Shaodan Mountain, okay, let's stay there as much as possible during this period. If the 3rd-level monster really comes, we can escape as soon as possible. Qin Wang said with firm eyes. Qin Wang knew in his heart that when the formation broke out in 3 days, it would be the only chance to escape from the formation. Gao Yuan was very kind to him. He could only use such hypothetical words to ask Gao Yuan to prepare in advance. At the entrance of Shaodan Mountain, when the time comes, the 5-headed monsters will break through the formation and head to the mortal world as soon as possible. Well, one day, the entrance is indeed a good place to escape. Gao Yuan spoke in a deep voice. The formation is sealed. If the formation is destroyed by monsters, the entrance to Shaodan Mountain is indeed the best place to escape. Why are you still sealing off the formation? It's been 2 days. We haven't seen the beast wave yet. Yeah, have there been any monsters here in the past 2 days, and they won't let us go out, so we're just sitting around doing nothing. It seems that he is a mysterious person who is investigating the real person who is spreading rumors recently. You can just investigate. If you don't let us out, what's the big deal? We casual cultivators still have to go into the mountains to find resources. The beast tide receded and did not come back again. Master Zixia still continued to block the mountain protection formation, and the monks in the entire city were talking about it and complaining. According to the intelligence, 5 third-level monsters are coming tomorrow. Qin Wang stood on the long street of Shaodanshanfang City, looking at the translucent cover in the sky, feeling extremely worried and secretly cursing Master Zixia. Although he knew that the monsters were coming, Master Zixia blocked the formation. With 5 third-level monsters, it is estimated that Master Zixia will die by then. 6. You have used the psychedelic incense to lure monsters for 1 month in a row, and you have obtained information. You have obtained the method of preparing the incense for chasing souls for thousands of miles. For details, please click filled circle. 7. You are dissatisfied with Zixia Zhenren's blockade of Shaodanshan Mountain Protection Formation. After receiving information, Shaodanshanfang City will undergo major changes tomorrow. 1,000 miles chasing soul incense. It is formulated with 49 kinds of medicinal materials. It is colorless and odorless, and has a special aroma that penetrates the maggots of the tarsal bones. It cannot be driven away during the qi refining period. As long as the target is within 1,000 miles, it cannot escape tracking. Early this morning, Qin Wang updated 2 pieces of useful information. This 1,000 miles soul-chasing incense can be used to track down Zhao Xuanzhen. Qin Wang looked at the preparation method of 1,000 miles chasing soul incense with a look of thought in his eyes. There is a jade slip on Zhao Xuanzhen that is closely related to the broken sword. The mysterious iron fragment of the demon slayer Xu Ying was also taken away by Zhao Xuanzhen. If Zhao Xuanzhen can be traced, he should be able to get it back. The monster will come tomorrow. Let's prepare some 1,000 miles chasing soul incense first. Qin Wang made up his mind and went to the demon slaughter shop and the spiritual medicine shop. The next day, 11 noon, the mountain protection formation of Shaodanshan Market is still blocked. Many cultivators appear on the streets. Some come to the edge of the formation and head to Qian Mountain to wait for the formation to open so that they can enter the mountain to hunt monsters. Qin Wang, Gao Yuan, Gao Wenjing, and many cautious cultivators are subconsciously wandering at the entrance of Shaodanshan. At the highest point of Shaodanshan, in the hall, Zixia Zhenren, dressed in a purple robe, stood in front of the portrait of the ancestor of Ling Yaoman in the middle of the hall with his hands behind his back, wondering what he was thinking. Uncle Master, the casual cultivators in the market complained that they were living off the mountain and asked to open the formation. At this moment, Zhao Yulong, dressed in green, came quickly and clasped his fists respectfully to Zixia Zhenren. Haven't you found the person who spread the rumor yet? Mu Zhen asked with a thoughtful look in his eyes. To answer Uncle Master, I haven't. Zhao Yulong shook his head. Search quickly. We will never stop until we catch the rumormonger. Issue a notice. From today on, anyone who delays the time of the monks in the market will have his rent reduced by 10% every month. Mu Zhen narrowed his eyes and spoke in a deep voice. The rumormonger was too hateful. He would never be willing to accept it if he didn't catch him. Another thing is that the flying boat that the sect uses to take the disciples is still on the way. He decided to wait a few more days and let the patrol search while he also used his spiritual sense to search the area piece by piece. He had already searched the shops in the market and the monks with high cultivation. Now, the only thing left was the shantytown. Boom, boom, hum. Suddenly, Mu Zhen's expression changed, and his figure flashed and appeared outside the hall. Zhao Yulong's expression also changed drastically, and he went out of the hall. Master, Uncle, no, it's not good. A level 33 monster. Zhao Yulong stood behind Master Zixia, looking at the direction of Qian Mountain in the distance, and suddenly widened his eyes in fear. His lips were trembling. At this moment, outside Shaodan Mountain, in the direction of Qian Mountain, the plains for more than 10 miles were densely packed with monsters, and there were monster birds in the sky. What was even more terrifying was that he felt 5 terrifying pressures. This was the pressure of a third-level monster. 5 third-level monsters. 55 third-level monsters. Mu Zhen felt the powerful momentum of the monsters in the distance, and his heart suddenly skipped a beat. At this time, Mu Zhen saw the vast plain outside Shaodan Mountain. 2 giant black rabbit monsters as big as calves were running towards me. Flying in the sky was a firefinch as big as 10 feet. Beside him, there were 2 golden-backed eagles about 10 feet tall. 5 terrifying and sinister auras swept over him. If there were 2 or 3 third-level monsters, he could still rely on the Shaodan Mountain Guard formation to resist them, but this time there were 5 of them. Especially the leading Firebird has the strongest aura, and its aura is comparable to that of the later stage of foundation building. Oh my god, how can we block this? Mu Zhen looked at these 5 third-level demonic beasts that were comparable to those in the foundation building stage and felt chills all over. The demonic beasts were already much stronger than monks of the same level. How could they resist these 5 demonic beasts when they came? Even if there is a mountain protecting formation, I'm afraid it won't be able to withstand this. There are so many third-level monsters coming out of the depths of Qian Mountain. This has never happened before. 5 third-level monsters appeared together. Shaodan Shanfang City is bound to be destroyed. Escape. At this moment, Master Zixia only has this thought in her mind. If he doesn't escape, he will definitely die. As for returning, that is impossible. After losing Shaodan Shanfang City, he couldn't imagine the sect's punishment. From now on, he could only remain anonymous and become a casual cultivator. Master Zixia's eyes showed determination. He waved his hand and touched the storage bag, and a cyan formation flag flew out. Then he pinched his finger and fired a magic formula. The formation flag rose 10 feet in the wind and shot into the mountain. Shaodan Mountain was shaken. The formation seemed to be more solid. Next moment, Master Zixia controlled the flying sword and took out a black card. The black card approached the light screen of the formation and tore out a portal. Master Zixia walked out of the formation and galloped southeast of Shaodan Mountain before disappearing in the blink of an eye. Uncle Mu. Zhao Yulong looked at Mu Zhen, who sealed off the formation and left with flying swords without saying a word. His scalp suddenly went numb and he desperately headed towards the entrance of Shaodan Mountain. Mu Zhen, this is crazy. At this moment, Zhao Yulong cursed in his heart. He knew it. Just now, Mu Zhen completely blocked the formation, hoping that everyone in the city would attract the attention of the monster and buy him time to escape. That fool knows that he will be severely punished if he returns to the sect, so he has no plans to go back. Now, the tide of monsters on the plain outside Shaodan Mountain, as well as the 5 terrifying third-level monsters, have already attracted the attention of many monks. 5 third-level monsters besiege the Shaodanshan formation. Oh my god! Where is Master Zixia, who is guarding Shaodan Mountain? Why is there no movement? It's over. 5 third-level monsters are besieging the Shaodanshan formation. Once the formation is broken, we are doomed. Run away. At this time, many casual cultivators in Shaodan Shanfang City fled in all directions, screaming in surprise and heading towards the entrance of Shaodanshan. Qin Wang, Gao Yuan and Gao Wenjing were standing not far from the entrance of Shaodan Mountain in advance. Xiao Qin, you really guessed it. The third-level monster really attacked Shaodan Mountain. Oh my god. Gao Yuan held a long knife in his hand and watched the mountain guarding formation in the sky, trembling with deep worry in his eyes. Uncle Gao, I also made a random guess. I didn't expect that I was right. Qin Wang's heart was beating wildly at this moment, and he stared closely at the protective array mask in the sky. Master Zixia blocked the array and prevented anyone from getting out. He could only wait for the moment when the array was broken by the 5 monsters, and immediately Shaodan escaped from the mountain entrance. Gao Wenjing was on the side, looking nervous. Boom. Crack. Boom. At this moment, the entrance to Shaodan Mountain was crowded with monks who had reached the 9th level of the Qi refining stage. They all bombarded the entrance of the formation, hoping to open a hole to escape. Qin Wang also found out. There are many familiar faces, including Li Qiye, Yan Honghao, Tang Zhangzhong, Zhao Haifeng, Zhao Yulong, Zhong Lingbu, Hu Shihan, Ding Feng, and the spiritual farmer Yu Qingfeng among them. More and more monks crowded towards the entrance. The entrance was crowded. Zhao Xuanzhen. Suddenly, Qin Wang looked at a figure crowded in the crowd in the distance, and his eyes narrowed. That person is Zhao Xuanzhen. Qin Wang suddenly thought that the spirit of the broken sword was still on his body. After the formation is broken and he rushes out, he must find an opportunity to plant Qinli soul chasing incense on his body and find an opportunity to kill him. Boom. Sudden. Qin Wang noticed that there was a shocking vibration in Shaodan Mountain. The cover on the sky that looked like an upside-down bowl shattered and turned into spiritual energy that impacted in all directions. At the same time, the wall of light that blocked many casual cultivators suddenly dissipated. The protective formation was broken by the monster. Leave quickly. Hurry, hurry. If you don't leave, it'll be too late. The moment the mountain protecting formation was shattered, the monks from Fengshi who were crowded at the entrance scattered and ran away. Qin Wang followed Gao Yuan as many monks galloped down the Yunwu Mountains. At this time, the Shaodanshan formation was broken, and some monks who had no time to escape were torn to pieces by the monsters that rushed in. 5 third-level monsters rushed into Fang City, wreaking havoc. The beast tide passed by, and the original Fang City became a ruin. Qin Wang deployed his wind control technique and rushed out of the Tianwu Mountains. What he didn't expect was that Zhao Xuanzhan was heading in the same direction as him. While Qin Wang was galloping, he conveniently got the Qinli soul-chasing fragrance powder on Zhao Xuanzhan's body, and then he galloped away towards the secular world. Qin Wang didn't dare to look back. He galloped for more than 3 hours before looking back. Shaodan Mountain in the distance has disappeared. Unconsciously, he found that he and Gao Yuan and others had been separated. Fortunately, Uncle Gao left the 1,000 miles chasing soul incense on him, so we can catch up with him. Qin Wang's nose twitched. Following the tracking method of the 1,000 miles chasing soul incense, he found that Gao Yuan, Zhao Xuanzhan and others were all heading southeast. He immediately spread his body and chased them southeast. 3 days later, more than 10 miles away from Shaodan Mountain. Shaodan Mountain Market, was it really destroyed by a monster beast? A woman wearing a white fairy dress and with a pretty face, like a beautiful girl from a small family, stood on a gray flying boat, looking at the Shaodan Mountain Market, which had become a ruin in the distance, and frowned deeply. Zhang Panpan stepped into the foundation building stage. Just as he stabilized his realm, he was sent here to receive the disciples recruited by Shaodan Mountain Market. But he didn't expect to see such a scene. At this time, there was no monster beast in Shaodan Mountain Market. Above it, however, there was a terrifying black light of evil spirits rising to the sky, as if it were a Jedi of the demon realm, emitting waves of terrifying pressure. Junior brother Zhao, are you sure you saw senior brother Mu abandon Shaodan Mountain and flee? Zhang Panpan looked at the evil spirits rising to the sky, and did not dare to rashly enter the ruins of Shaodan Mountain. He immediately looked at a green-robed monk behind him and asked. Yes, Uncle Zhang. Zhao Yulong glanced at Zhang Panpan, with mixed feelings in his heart. The person who he had tried so hard to get back then has now become his uncle. Now, if he wants to get Zhang Panpan's favor, he has to build a foundation, otherwise, he will not be in her eyes. Shaodan Mountain has been destroyed. Follow me back to the sect to report. Zhang Panpan sighed, controlled the flying boat, slowly took off, and rushed away. Flying in the sky, Zhang Panpan took a deep look at Shaodan Mountain, her eyes dimmed. She was a cultivator who walked out of Shaodan Mountain, and this place carried too many of her memories. 5 days later, Qin Wang used the wind control technique to hurry along the way, following the Qinli chasing soul incense to pursue Gao Yuan, Zhao Xuanzhan and other cultivators, but he didn't expect to return to his hometown. Yanyan County. Qin Wang looked at the familiar county in front of him, feeling a lot of emotion. This is his birthplace. Here, he destroyed Li Laosai, killed Zheng Kecheng, overthrew Li Hongfei, fought against the Chen family, and slowly developed. On the way, let's go to Qingnu Market. Qin Wang saw that the direction was not wrong, and made up his mind to go to Qingnu Market to take a look. He had promised Bai Fengwan before, and he would go to see her when he came back. In addition, Dr. Bai had done him a favor, so he should go and see him. Also, his neighbor Li Yunhai once gave him brown rice and fish when he was down and out. Qin Wang used the wind control technique, like a wind shadow. He didn't walk, but passed through the treetops in a straight line and headed straight for Qingnu Market. In less than a quarter of an hour, he appeared in front of a rather imposing tomb in the back mountain of Qingnuji. This is the ancestral tomb of the people of Qingnuji. In front of Qin Wang is Li Laosai's tomb. The moment Qin Wang landed, he took out a black bowl, which was the soul-gathering bowl. His consciousness moved, and a faint shadow appeared beside him. Li Laosai, I'm here to fulfill my promise. Dig up the grave and whip the corpse, grind the bones and spread the ashes. Qin Wang looked at Li Laosai's soul shadow, waved the soul-shocking knife, and the red knife light swept over a foot. Li Laosai's tomb was immediately split into two, revealing the coffin inside. Qin Wang flew out with an explosive flame technique. Suddenly, the coffin burned. Seeing his own grave being dug up and burned, Li Laosai's soul shadow was immediately bloodshot, and wanted to rush up to Qin Wang to fight. Qin Wang waved his hand and put Li Laosai's soul shadow into the soul-gathering bowl. He slapped it with one palm, and the energy exploded. Li Laosai's grave has become a big pit. Qingnuji. Cough 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 cough. Li Yunhai's home. A haggard man with patches on his gray clothes lies on the bed, coughing constantly. Boss, drink some. A woman wearing an apron, holding a bowl of Chinese medicine, scooped it up with a spoon, blew it until it was not hot, and sent it to the man's mouth, saying, Yunhai, drink this medicine, you will get better soon. You are the pillar of our family, you can't be in trouble. Li Yunhai propped himself up, drank the Chinese medicine, and said to Xiao Yan, Yunur, don't worry, this is an old problem, I will be fine after 2 days of rest. Yeah, Xiao Yan nodded, put down the medicine bowl, and said to Li Yunhai, I'll go to the well to fetch some water and make some porridge for you. You can rest for a while. Yeah, you've worked hard, carry less at a time, cough cough cough. Li Yunhai just opened his mouth and started coughing again. Xiao Yan patted Li Yunhai's back quickly until he stopped coughing, then she went out with the bucket. Uncle Yunhai, are you okay? Li Yunhai felt confused, and suddenly heard a familiar voice. He opened his eyes, but saw a familiar young man in blue standing in the room. He immediately propped himself up and said, You are Uncle Yunhai, I'm Qin Wang. Qin Wang looked at Li Yunhai, walked forward, held his hand, and a stream of magic power poured into him, and his brows frowned slightly. He found that there was a cold internal force in Li Yunhai's body, which was the culprit for his physical weakness. Qin Wang's current strength of the 5th level of Qi refining stage made it easy for him to expel this cold internal force. Not long after, Li Yunhai recovered a lot of his spirit. Wangzi, is it really you? Li Yunhai felt much better. He sat up, looked at Qin Wang, and said anxiously, Go quickly, the demon suppression general is looking for you everywhere. Hurry, it's too late. The demon suppression general. Hearing Li Yunhai's words, Qin Wang was immediately confused. It's Zheng Kecheng's son, Zheng Lingyun. He served under the king of Jin and became a demon-suppressing general. He came to Qingnuji half a month ago and said that you killed the Chen family and committed a heinous crime. He also came to my house to ask me, and told me to report you if I saw you, and there would be a big reward. Wangzi, let's go, the farther the better, and don't come back. Li Yunhai's face showed anxiety. Zheng Lingyun. Uncle Yunhai, it seems that the cold internal force in your body was plotted by Zheng Lingyun. Qin Wang looked at Li Yunhai and said in a deep voice. Zheng Lingyun plotted against me. Li Yunhai was shocked and murmured. He patted my shoulder that day, and I fell ill on the 3rd day. Don't worry, Uncle Yunhai, I will completely solve Zheng Lingyun. I came back to see you this time. Your injuries have healed. If you have time, go to the firewood pile under my kitchen and dig it up. I'll leave those things to you. I will always remember your kindness in giving me brown rice and fish. Only you can know the things I give you, otherwise it will attract people's covetousness and bring about a fatal disaster. I'm leaving. After Qin Wang finished speaking, his figure flashed and he left without a trace. Wangzi, take care. Li Yunhai chased to the door, but there was no trace of Qin Wang's back. This is silver. So much. Li Yunhai suddenly turned around and saw a pile of silver ingots on the bed, among which there were 2 books. He was shocked. He had never seen so much silver in his life. God, you must protect Wangzi from being hunted down by the demon-suppressing general. Li Yunhai looked out the window and murmured. At this moment, footsteps were heard outside. Li Yunhai's expression changed and he immediately pulled up the quilt to cover the silver. He just wanted to keep the fact that Qin Wang had come to him to himself. Baekaotang. Back hall. There were no patients today. Bai Mingliang was in the back hall, teasing his loyal dog Wangkai. Grandpa Bai. Suddenly, a familiar voice sounded in the room. Bai Mingliang followed the voice and saw a tall and handsome young man standing at the door. You are Xiao Qin. When did you come back? Bai Mingliang looked at Qin Wang, stood up suddenly, with a look of surprise in his eyes, walked forward, grabbed Qin Wang's hands, and murmured. I haven't seen you for such a long time. You have grown stronger. Your pulse is stable and good. I am very happy that you can come back to see me. However, Zheng Kechung's son is trying to catch you everywhere. You have to be careful. Bai Mingliang said in a low voice with a worried look in his eyes, and closed the door to the front hall. Grandpa Bai, I came back to see you this time. By the way, why can't I see Sister Fengwan? Qin Wang asked after a glance. According to Bai Fengwan's temperament, she must be the first to run out to see him when he came. Fengwan's father Ling Feng is back and took her to find her mother. I can't leave Qingnuji with my old bones, so I stay here alone. Bai Mingliang laughed loudly, full of energy. Qin Wang found that this time when he came back, Dr. Bai's face was ruddy and his spirit was better than before. Oh, so that's it. Qin Wang nodded, didn't ask any more questions, and chatted with Dr. Bai for a while, then left, following the scent of Qinli Zhuanxiang, chasing Zhao Xuanzhen. Half a month later, Dakang Kingdom, Yizhou, Tianshui County. Late at night, in an inn, Qin Wang sat cross-legged on the bed, spread his palms, and the two spiritual stones in his hands turned into ashes. Finally, I have reached the 6th level of qi refining. Qin Wang looked at the panel, and a hint of joy appeared in his eyes. Realm. 6th level of qi refining, 1/6000th. With the strength of the 6th level of qi refining, I have a better chance of dealing with Zhao Xuanzhen. Qin Wang was in a good mood. After leaving Dr. Bai's Baikao Hall, he went to kill Zheng Lingyun and directly chased Zhao Xuanzhen. 1. You tracked Zhao Xuanzhen for thousands of miles and obtained information that Zhao Xuanzhen is a member of the Demon Slayer Alliance. He and Tang Zhangzhang and more than 50 other members of the Demon Slayer Alliance went to Qingyan Fairy City. 2. You tracked Zhao Xuanzhen for thousands of miles and obtained information that Zhao Xuanzhen will go to Tianyang City, Yuzhou, Dakang Kingdom, and explore the way for Tang Zhangzhang. 3. You recently used the Soul Gathering Bowl and successfully refined the 2nd level of the restriction. You have obtained information and consumed your spiritual consciousness. Using the Soul Gathering Bowl, you can cast a Soul Gathering Vortex. A cultivator at the 9th level of the qi refining stage will be unconscious for a moment if they are hit by the vortex. The lower the cultivation level, the longer the unconscious time. 4. You touched the black broken sword and obtained information. The previous owner of the broken sword, Chuan Ying, is a foundation building master of the Tai sword sect's hidden sword lineage. 5. The destination of your trip is Qingyan Fairy City. According to the information, Qingyan Fairy City is a great fairy city composed of 4 Jindan families. 6. The destination of your trip is Qingyan Fairy City. We have received information that there is a fragment in Qingyan Fairy City that has the same origin as the mysterious fragment you are wearing. 7. You escaped from Shaodanshanfang City to avoid being torn apart by 5 3rd-level monsters. You obtained information that Shaodanshan Zixia Zhenren had fled to Qingyan Fairy City and hid under a pseudonym. 8. You escaped from Shaodanshanfang City and obtained information. Zhao Yulong, the foreign affairs elder of Shaodanshan, was brought back to the Elixir sect by Zhang Panpan, who came to pick up his disciples. Zhao Yulong's family member Zhao Haifeng and Taoist monk Mo Yunyan are heading to Qingyan Fairy City, on the way. 9. You escaped from Shaodanshanfang City and received information that Li Qiye and Yan Honghao, whom you had met once before, were on their way to Qingyan Fairy City. 10. You escaped from Shaodanshanfang City to avoid being torn apart by 5 monsters, and obtained information that Shaodanshanfang City has been occupied by the awakening arm of the demonic power and has completely become a demonic realm. Will Zhao Xuanzhen take the first step and explore the way for Tang Zhangzhang? Finally, it's time for you to leave the Demon Slayer Alliance. Seeing the second piece of information, Qin Wang secretly thought that the opportunity had come. As far as Qin Wang knows, Zhao Xuanzhen is at the 6th level of the qi refining stage. If he is with Tang Zhonzhong, it is not easy for him to take action. If he is alone, it will be easier. The second level of restrictions in the refining soul gathering bowl can actually create a soul gathering vortex. Qin Wang looked at the third piece of information with a look of surprise in his eyes. Soul gathering vortex. Consume spiritual consciousness and use the soul gathering bowl to create a soul gathering vortex. If a 9th level monk in the qi refining period is caught in the vortex, he will lose consciousness for a breath of time. The lower the cultivation level, the longer the period of soul gathering vortex. Junjun Zixia also fled to Qingyan Fairy City. Qin Wang looked at the 7th piece of information and narrowed his eyes. This old guy blocked the formation and was almost killed by him. I can't swallow this breath without killing him. Shaodan Shanfang City is occupied by the demon arm. Completely reduced to a demonic realm. Qin Wang was shocked when he saw the 10th piece of information. Fortunately, I escaped. If it had been too late, I might have died. Qing Niuji. Wangzi, Uncle Hai only gave you a little brown rice and a fish, but you gave Uncle Hai more money than he could spend in several lifetimes. Li Yunhai stood in the kitchen of Qin Wang's house, looking at the pile of silver on the ground with a grateful expression. Qingyan Fairy City is a huge fairy city located between the three kingdoms of Da Kang, Da Wei, and Da Chu. This fairy city, it gathered powerful immortals, casual cultivators, and families from the three major countries and surrounding dynasties. Yuzhou, Tianyang City, is located on the border of Da Kang Kingdom, close to Qingyan Fairy City. 3 months later, Qin Wang stood in room 3 of the Golden Dragon Inn in the east of Tianyang City. Room 18 is the inn where Zhao Xuanzhen is staying. As far as Qin Wang knew, the news that Zhao Xuanzhen came to inquire about the Immortal City on the orders of Tang Zhonzhong was sent back, and other members of the Demon Slayer Alliance were on the way. Qingyan Fairy City. It is a huge county hidden in the Manyang Mountains. The minimum requirement for entry is the innate realm of martial arts. Without this realm, you are not qualified to enter. I am now at the 7th level of qi refining, and my proficiency has exceeded 1,000. It should be safe to kill Zhao Xuanzhen. 3 months later, Qin Wang kept Zhao Xuanzhen hanging, absorbing spirit stones all the way, improving his cultivation, and successfully broke through to the 7th level of qi refining. Realm. 7th level of qi refining, 1,239 7,000ths. Qin Wang used the soul locking and breathing method to hide his cultivation at the 4th level of qi refining. Jinlong Inn. Room 3. Little thing, he actually followed me all the way from Shaodan Mountain. You dare to follow me at the 4th level of qi refining. Are Gao Yuan and the others nearby? A middle-aged man in gray with a medium build and a strong breath looked out the window with a gloomy look in his eyes. At this moment, Zhao Xuanzhen was extremely angry. He received the order from the leader Tang Zhonzhong and came to Tianyang City very cautiously to inquire about the news, but he unexpectedly saw a familiar person. The young man who followed Gao Yuan in Shaodan Mountain. What he didn't expect was that the young man actually reached the 4th level of qi refining. He is now in the 6th level of qi refining, almost the 7th level, so he is naturally not afraid of a young man in the 4th level of qi refining. He is worried about Gao Yuan and his demon hunting team. Can't stay here, leave first. Zhao Xuanzhen thought for a while, his eyes were determined. At the beginning, he and his brother forced Gao Yuan to take out 40 spirit stones, which might be the reason why Gao Yuan hated him. Although he didn't find Gao Yuan's trace, if Gao Yuan was nearby, it would be over. Little thing, when the rest of my demon-slaying alliance arrives, I won't be surnamed Zhao if I don't kill you. Zhao Xuanzhen quickly packed up and went out carefully. 3 hours later, Zhao Xuanzhen sneaked in and came to a large courtyard in the east of Jinyang City. He rented this large courtyard here and planned to wait for the people from the Demon Slayer Alliance to settle down and then go to Qingyan Fairy City together. I didn't follow you. It's safe. Zhao Xuanzhen looked around carefully, then closed the gate of the courtyard and entered the house. He was going to send a message to the leader of the alliance first. Boy, why are you here? Suddenly, Zhao Xuanzhen looked at a young figure in the hall and was shocked. He waved his hand and took out the magic sword from the storage bag, ready to attack at any time. At the same time, he took 3 steps back and looked around vigilantly. At this moment, Zhao Xuanzhen's heart was in turmoil. He was careful enough, but he was still chased into the house by this kid. He was not afraid of the young man in front of him, but he was worried about Gao Yuan. Zhao Xuanzhen, you robbed me of 40 spiritual stones, and I'm here to take them back now. Qin Wang looked at Zhao Xuanzhen and spoke lightly. After that, the black soul gathering bowl in his hand was facing Zhao Xuanzhen, and a black light flashed on it, and a faint vortex appeared. Ah! Zhao Xuanzhen looked at the faint black vortex, and felt his consciousness blurred, and his thoughts seemed to stagnate in an instant. Suddenly, Zhao Xuanzhen felt a sharp pain in his chest. He came back to his senses and slowly lowered his head, but saw that there was a long knife stuck in his chest, not up to the handle. Ah, I'm not willing. Zhao Xuanzhen pointed at the young man in front of him, with disbelief and unwillingness in his eyes, and fell to the ground with a bang. He was a cultivator of the 6th level of Qi refining stage, almost the 7th level. Just now, a vortex appeared in the bowl of the young man of the 4th level of Qi refining stage, and he was confused and pierced through the chest by a knife. He was a cultivator of the 7th level, but he was actually plotted against by a cultivator of the 4th level of Qi refining stage. This death is too aggrieved. The next moment, Zhao Xuanzhen only felt that his consciousness entered the black bowl. It's worthy of being a soul-gathering vortex. So cool. Qin Wang looked at Zhao Xuanzhen, who fell to the ground, with satisfaction in his eyes. This soul-gathering vortex is really a sharp weapon. Zhao Xuanzhen, who had perfected the 6th level of Qi refining, was stagnant in an instant and was stabbed to death by himself. Qin Wang cut off Zhao Xuanzhen's head with the fire spirit knife again, confirming that he was dead, and then stepped forward, took off the storage bag on his waist, and fumbled around his body. After not finding anything, he put his body into the storage bag, dealt with the traces, and left. Half an hour later, Jinyang City, 20 miles away, in a hidden forest. I don't know how many people Zhao Xuanzhen has killed. So rich. Qin Wang sat cross-legged, looking at the storage bag in his hand, with surprise in his eyes. Zhao Xuanzhen died. The mark of consciousness on his storage bag disappeared. Qin Wang easily invaded it with his consciousness, planted a mark, and became his third storage bag. Zhao Xuanzhen's storage bag contained 400 spiritual stones, 7 bottles of soul-enriching pills, 6 bottles of qi replenishing pills, various low-level spiritual medicines, and monster materials. Qin Wang searched for a while and found a pale yellow jade slip and a heavy iron scrap as big as a bowl. Sword Art of Controlling Spirits. Qin Wang's consciousness sank into the pale yellow jade slip and immediately found a sword art of nearly 1,000 words, called Sword Art of Controlling Spirits. This sword art came from Tai Sword Sect, and it was the soul art of controlling that matched the black broken sword. With this art combined with consciousness, the foundation building period can control the spirit sword to kill the enemy and fly with the sword. Although the broken sword is broken, if you practice the soul control sword technique and absorb and replenish the spiritual energy, you can still use the sword energy to kill the 9th level of the Qi refining stage. This time the harvest is good. Practicing this soul control sword technique is like having an extra trump card. Qin Wang looked at the pale yellow jade slip in his hand, and took out the black broken sword again, with expectation in his eyes. His current cultivation is the 7th level of the Qi refining stage. If he can use this broken sword to use the sword energy, it can kill the 9th level of the Qi refining stage with one strike. It is really a good weapon for self-defense. Add a soul-gathering vortex, and you will not be afraid of single kills in the Qi refining stage. This piece of broken iron is really full of twists and turns. Qin Wang took out the piece of broken iron that the demon slayer Xu Ying got from the belly of the Zhao monster, and he was full of emotion. The intelligence shows. The origin of this piece of broken iron is mysterious, and it is of great help to him. Qin Wang used his spiritual sense to check for a long time, but he couldn't see any clues. There were only some unfamiliar symbols on it, some of which looked like words. I've got the stuff, I'll think about it later. Now, I can catch up with Uncle Gao and enter the fairy city together. Qin Wang took a deep breath and had to give up, secretly saying. Jinyang City, adjacent to Tianxing City. Tiansheng Inn. Wenjing, tomorrow, we will go to Qingyan Fairy City. Dad has inquired about it. You need to register to enter the city, and you have to pay 12 spiritual stones every year. It's the same as Shaodin Mountain, but the opportunities for cultivating immortals here are not comparable to Shaodin Mountain. A bigger fairy city means you can go further in the future. Higher. Gao Yuan stood in the corridor on the second floor, looking at the fairy city in the distance, which was shrouded in spiritual mist and shadowy, and said with expectation. Well, it's a pity that Xiao Qin couldn't keep up. Gao Wenjing's eyes flashed and said. Alas, I was busy escaping at the time, but I didn't expect that he would get separated from us. Gao Yuan sighed. Qin Titan is indeed a good boy, very polite. Huh, Uncle Gao. At this moment, on the street outside the inn, a handsome young man in green was waving at Gao Yuan. Xiao Qin, it's really you. What a coincidence. Gao Yuan looked at the young man on the long street below, and his eyes suddenly lit up. The young man had eyebrows flying into his temples, and his eyes were big and bright. Who else could he be but Qin Titan? Yes, Uncle Gao, I didn't expect it to be such a coincidence. Qin Wang looked at Gao Yuan flying down, with a happy look on his face. Actually, Qin Wang came here based on Qinli Chaihunxiang and pretended to meet him by chance. After all, they are all from Shaodan Mountain and their destination is Qingyan Fairy City. It makes sense that they could meet by chance. Xiao Qin, it is indeed fate that we can meet again. Let's enter Qingyan Fairy City together. In the inn room, Gao Yuan looked at Qin Wang and was very happy. Qin Wang nodded. Qin Wang also stayed at the inn where Gao Yuan was staying. At the same time, he also learned that Yang Long and other monks from the demon hunting team were also there. They had just arrived and were preparing to take a rest before heading to Qingyan Fairy City. Early in the morning, Qin Wang sat cross-legged on the bed next to Gao Yuan's room, looking at his panel. Information refreshed daily. Today's information. 1. You killed Zhao Xuanjun and obtained information. More than 50 members of the Demon Slayer Alliance led by Tang Zhangzhang have arrived in Jinyang City. They are very angry about Zhao Xuanjun's death and vow to find the murderer. The origin of Tang Zhangzhang's grandfather is extremely mysterious. 2. You killed Zhao Xuanjun, obtained a mysterious piece of iron fragments, and obtained information. This fragment of iron fragments has an extraordinary origin. If you can understand the mystery, it can greatly enhance your physical strength. 3. You recently used the Soul Gathering Bowl, successfully refined the third level of restrictions, and obtained information. The Soul Gathering Bowl was once made from the ancient magic dialect Heavenly Sacrifice thousands of years ago. 4. You have obtained the Spirit Control Sword technique that comes with the Black Broken Sword, and obtained information that Chuan Ying, the former owner of the Broken Sword, has successfully been promoted to the Golden Core stage. 5. You have practiced the Spirit Control Sword technique and obtained information. After absorbing 100 spiritual stones, the Black Broken Sword will replenish its spiritual energy and have a powerful blow to kill the 9th level of the Qi refining stage. 6. You intend to enter Qingyan Fairy City and obtain information. Qingyan Fairy City has a fragment that has the same origin as the mysterious fragment you are wearing, and it is currently in the hands of Liang Kanghai. 7. Your intention is to enter Qingyan Immortal City and obtain information. The 4 golden elixir experts in Qingyan Immortal City are Situ Yunfei, Tang Yufang, Zhang Heoran, and Liang Kanghai. 8. You once visited Dr. Bai and obtained information that Dr. Bai's granddaughter was taken away by his son Bai Lingfeng and went to the world of immortality. 9. You met Gao Yuan on the way into Qingyan Fairy City and obtained information. Li Qiei, Yan Honghao, Zhao Haifeng, Zhang Lingbu, Hu Shihan, and Ding Feng, the monks from Shaodan Mountain like you, all entered Qingyan Fairy City. 10. You are going to prepare some psychedelic incense that lures demons, and you have obtained information. Mu Zhen, the real Zixia person you tricked, has changed his name to Mu Zhen and has become the son-in-law of the Zhang family of the Jindan family. The mysterious scrap of iron, as long as I understand its mystery, can it greatly enhance my physical strength. Qin Wang looked at the second piece of information with a thoughtful look in his eyes. He has been thinking about the scrap iron piece for a long time, but there has been no progress. It seems that he needs to continue thinking about it, or wait for an opportunity. Bai Fengwan also embarked on the immortal path. Qin Wang looked at the 8th piece of information and was a little surprised. Did not expect. Bai Fengwan's father actually came back and took her away. Zhenren Zixia, an old guy, has become the son-in-law of the Jindan family at such an old age. Qin Wang looked at the 10th piece of information with a thoughtful look in his eyes. This old thing. He almost killed himself, and it would be unforgivable if he didn't kill him. Even if he becomes the son-in-law of the Jindan family, we must find a way to kill him. Practice the spirit control sword technique first. Qin Wang made up his mind and began to hold the broken sword in one hand and a spiritual stone in the other, running the spirit control sword technique to replenish the broken sword with spiritual energy. Qingyan Immortal City got its name because it is located on the edge of the Manyang Mountains and blocks the terrifying beasts in the Manyang Mountains. It is shrouded in fairy mist all year round. Its scope is dozens of times larger than Shaodan Mountain. There are many golden elixir monks stationed in the fairy city. Yingxianmen. At the east gate of Qingyan Immortal City, monks who generally enter Qingyan Immortal City enter through this gate, hence the name, Yingxian. To enter Qingyan Fairy City, you need to pay 10 spirit stones. After registering, an identity card will be issued. After entering the city, you can choose to enter the Manyang Mountains to hunt monsters to obtain resources, or you can join various forces, make a living for your family, etc. In Qingyan Immortal City, you have to pay 12 spiritual stones every year. Once the spirit stones are stopped, the Qingyan Immortal Guard will be sent out of Qingyan Immortal City. Qin Wang, Gao Yuan, Gao Wenjing and others entered the east city of Qingyan Immortal City after paying the spirit stones. Qingyan Immortal City is divided into 4 auxiliary cities in the east, south, west and north, as well as a central main city. Hundreds of miles in radius. The streets in Dongcheng are 100 feet wide and are paved with bluestone slabs. Rows of lush spiritual trees are planted on both sides. From time to time, powerful auras and monks riding powerful mounts are heading towards the Manyang Mountains. There are shops on both sides of the street. There are elixir pavilions, talisman pavilions, magic weapon pavilions, wanbao pavilions and so on. Xiao Qin, let's rent together first, and then we'll have someone to take care of us, how about that? As Gao Yuan walked, he whispered to Qin Wang. Okay, Uncle Gao. Qin Wang nodded and had no objection. After all, he had just arrived and was away from home, so he really needed some acquaintances. In the East City, there is a courtyard specially provided for new monks to rent. It's not like a shanty townhouse like Shaodanshan. It's all in a quadrangle, but 4 monks can share it. However, the rent is also relatively expensive, with 3 spiritual stones a month. Qin Wang, Gao Yuan, Wu Yanglong and many other cultivators rented the courtyard house number 168, Dongdang Shanyuan, Dongcheng. 5 days later, at night, Qin Wang stroked the broken sword in his hand, with satisfaction in his eyes, and murmured. Finally, the spiritual energy is full. At this moment, the appearance of this broken sword is not strange at all, but when the spiritual consciousness penetrates into it and drives it with the soul-controlling sword technique, it can feel the majestic sword energy in it. Although it is only 1 strike, but with the help of the soul-gathering bowl, one can also have the power to kill the 9th level of qi refining. Qin Wang murmured. Although this strike consumes a lot of energy, a full 100 spiritual stones, he knows in his heart that this thing may not be used, but it must be there. Enter the soul-gathering bowl space and take a look. Qin Wang checked that the door was bolted, and immediately waved his hand to touch the storage bag, and a pitch-black bowl appeared in his hand. After refining the 3rd level of the soul-gathering bowl, the soul-gathering bowl can refine the soul seed. To refine the soul seed, a soul needs to be prepared in a special way. After refining, it will be branded with its own spiritual mark, and it can control a cultivator with a lower level of cultivation than itself with the soul seed, which is equivalent to a human-shaped puppet. In the space of the soul-gathering bowl, the figure transformed by Qin Wang's spiritual consciousness appeared like a god, floating in the space of the soul-gathering bowl. In the soul-gathering bowl, there were originally hundreds of innocent souls, and Qin Wang let them enter reincarnation. Only Zhao Xuanjun, Zhao Xuanting, Li Laosai's family, Zheng Kecheng, Zheng Lingyun, Chen Kun, Mrs. Chen, Chen Tianyu, Zhou Yijian, Ding Dian and other enemies' souls were left. The souls of these people all looked at Qin Wang's figure with resentful eyes, trembling all over, and gritting their teeth. HMPH, you all hate me to the core, but you provoked me first, you have brought this upon yourselves. Without my permission, you cannot enter the cycle of reincarnation, and cannot be reborn. The death of the physical body is not the end of your suffering, but the beginning. Qin Wang swept his eyes over the many souls, his tone cold. He would not be polite to the souls of these enemies, and he had no psychological burden. Little beast, little fool, our brothers have all died and become ghosts, so why should we be afraid of you? You can kill or chop me up as you please. Zhao Xuanzhen gritted his teeth, wishing to eat the young man in front of him alive. Behind him stood Zhao Xuanting, who also looked resentful. Being taken into this void space, becoming a soul, unable to be reborn, life is worse than death. Zhao Xuanzhen and his brother Zhao Xuanting had planned to anger Qin Wang and let him destroy his soul in anger, which was better than being tortured every day in this cold place. Zhao Xuanzhen, don't worry, I will satisfy you. Refine you into resentful souls. Qin Wang's mind moved, his eyes narrowed, and he fixed Zhao Xuanzhen's soul. As soon as his mind moved, a black ghost fire rose in the space of the soul-gathering bowl, flew towards Zhao Xuanzhen's soul, and kept burning. This is the soul refining seed. After the soul gathering bowl refined the third layer of restrictions. Ignite a ghost fire, and sacrifice the soul. Kill me if you have the guts. I'll be a ghost. Zhao Xuanzhen suddenly let out a shrill howl, his soul kept rolling, his face twisted and deformed, and he was in extreme pain. Let's see how long you can last. Qin Wang looked at Zhao Xuanzhen's soul, which was rolling and howling miserably, and sneered. This soul could not die in the soul-gathering bowl space, nor could it pass out. It could only bear the torture of soul refining for life. Next to the souls of Li Laosai, Chen Kun, Zheng Kecheng, Zheng Lingyun and others showed fear in their eyes, and their souls were like chaff. What happened to Zhao Zan is a lesson for them. They didn't expect it. After death, the soul will still suffer such horrific torture, and there is no way to escape it, it will be burned forever. Spare me, spare me. I can do whatever you want me to do. Zhao Xuanzhen was burned by the ghostly fire, but he still couldn't die. He was burned for a quarter of an hour. He couldn't bear it any longer, and he immediately begged for mercy. Spare you, I still appreciate your unruly look. Qin Wang smiled faintly, and with a thought, he instantly started to refine Zhao Xuanzhen's soul according to the soul seed refining method in the soul gathering bowl. A series of dark magic techniques fell on Zhao Xuanzhen's soul. Zhao Xuanzhen's soul kept rolling around, wailing and screaming. Gradually, Zhao Xuanzhen's soul was continuously burned by the black fire, and finally, the wailing sound gradually died down. After being imprinted with my divine consciousness, the soul seed will be ready. Qin Wang looked at the soul seed that Zhao Xuanzhen's soul had transformed into, and his divine consciousness enveloped it. He imprinted his divine consciousness into it according to the method of refining the soul seed. Now, in Zhao Xuanzhen's soul, the sense of resistance belonging to Zhao Xuanzhen was refined by the ghost fire, leaving only the instinctive spirit. This is the best time to imprint your divine consciousness. The soul seed is refined. When the time comes, use this soul seed to enter the body of another monk, and then you can control that monk. It's done. About a quarter of an hour later, Qin Wang looked at the illusory soul in front of him with a look of satisfaction in his eyes. This soul seed transformed from Zhao Xuanzhen's soul is light and translucent, and still looks like Zhao Xuanzhen, with a blank look in his eyes. Qin Wang knew that this soul body had refined the memory of hatred towards him, leaving only Zhao Xuanzhen's instinct. After controlling it with his own consciousness, he could control a monk whose cultivation level was lower than his own. At this time, seeing Qin Wang refining Zhao Xuanzhen's soul, Li Laosai, Zheng Kecheng, Chen Kun and others all backed away in shock, with frightened faces and bodies like chaff. The next day, noon, I rely on the daily intelligence panel. When I first enter Qingyan Fairy City, I need to trigger a lot of intelligence. Qin Wangpan sat cross-legged in his room in the courtyard of number 168 Diongxian Garden, thinking about it, and thought to himself. At present, his method uses the soul-gathering vortex of the soul-gathering bowl. If a 9th-level monk in the qi refining stage is caught in the vortex, he will be absent-minded for a breath. The lower the cultivation level, the longer the time of being absent-minded. By analogy, the 8th-level monk in the qi refining stage, there are 2 breaths on each level, 3 breaths on the 7th level and 4 breaths on the 6th level during the qi refining period. Broken Sword Jian Gang has been filled with 100 spiritual stones and can kill a perfect monk at the 9th level of Qi refining stage with one sword. There is also a soul seed that can control a monk with a lower level of cultivation than himself. Afternoon, 1 hour. As expected of Qingyun Immortal City, the elixirs, talismans, spiritual materials, etc. here are much better than those in Shaodin Mountain. Qin Wang followed Gao Yuan and others to visit Lingdan Pavilion, Wanfufang, Wanfa Pavilion, and Tianbao Pavilion in the east of Dongcheng City, and gained a lot of knowledge. He didn't buy anything, he just went shopping. Qin Wang also saw higher-level elixirs such as Lingyuan Pill, Solid Yuan Pill, Jufa Pill, and Pulse Building Pill. There are talismans such as the Explosive Flame Talisman, the Wind Blade Talisman, the Gale Wind Talisman, the Iron Armor Talisman, and the Golden Bell Talisman. All kinds of strange things are dazzling. Zhao Haifeng. At the gate of Wanfufang, Qin Wang suddenly saw a familiar figure, and his eyes suddenly narrowed. That person was Zhao Haifeng, who occupied his spiritual field in Shaodin Mountain. Now, next to Zhao Haifeng, there was an enchanting woman and another man. The man was younger than Zhao Haifeng. This old guy occupies my spiritual field and meets you. He can be my first puppet. Qin Wang looked at Zhao Haifeng's back with a hint of murderous intent in his eyes. In Shaodin Mountain, when Zhao Haifeng saw that he had not come back, he occupied his spiritual field and went to his cabin number 88 to rummage through the autumn wind. It's absolutely abominable. Qin Wang reached into his arms, touched the storage bag in his arms, and instantly got some 1,000 miles chasing soul incense in his hand. He immediately walked towards Zhao Haifeng, saying hello with a smile on his face. Senior Zhao, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here. We are really destined. You look familiar to me. Zhao Haifeng looked at Qin Wang. He remembered seeing the young man in front of him, but he couldn't remember his name. Senior Zhao, my name is Qin Titan. You have been to my cabin and you were very concerned about me when you saw that I didn't come back. I will remember this in your heart. Qin Wang smiled brightly and stepped forward enthusiastically, holding Zhao Haifeng's hand, rode. I didn't expect that I would meet my senior in this Qingyun fairy city. If I have time, I must treat my senior to a cup of spiritual tea to express my gratitude. Oh, I remember, you are that fellow Taoist Xiao Qin. As the steward of the Deacon Hall, it is my duty to care about you. You are too polite. Zhao Haifeng finally remembered the young man in front of him. He once went to Qin Titan's cabin to enjoy the autumn breeze. It seemed that the young man in front of him did not take his search of his room to heart. Yes, it's me. It is my luck to meet you here. Qin Wang held Zhao Haifeng's hand, and unknowingly, he had already planted the 1,000-mile soul-chasing incense. Qin Wang chatted with Zhao Haifeng for a few more words, then said goodbye and caught up with Gao Yuan and others. Night. Qin Wang stood in front of the window of the east room of the number 168 courtyard, looking into the distance, his eyes showing a thoughtful look. He sensed through the 1,000-mile soul-chasing incense that Zhao Haifeng was staying 5 miles away. However, it is not possible to take action in the Immortal City. It is best to wait until Zhao Haifeng goes out to hunt monsters, because, as far as Qin Wang knows, there are Qingyun Immortal guards in the Immortal City, patrolling Qingyun Immortal City all the time. Once someone fights, Qingyun Immortal City will definitely catch them together, and then punish each of them with 50 boards of spirit stones. Daily Information Refresh. Daily Information. 1. You planted the 1,000-mile soul-chasing incense on Zhao Haifeng's body, and obtained information. Zhao Haifeng remembered you and felt that you were young and at the 4th level of the Qi refining stage. You might have some small opportunities. He decided to find a chance to kill you when you left the city. After all, a mosquito is still meat. 2. You used the soul gathering bowl to refine the first soul seed, and obtained information. The ancient demon Fang Yantian, who lived 10,000 years ago, once left a nascent soul inheritance in the 9 regions of the Divine Continent, located in the 10,000 Demons Mountain of the Dayu Immortal Dynasty. 3. You visited the Tianbao Pavilion and obtained information. The Tianbao Pavilion will soon open an auction for the great perfection of the Qi refining stage, including an auction of foundation building opportunities. 4. You visited the Lingdan Pavilion and obtained information. The Lingdan Pavilion is the property of the Situ family, one of the 4 major golden elixir families in Qingyun Immortal City. The chief alchemist Situ Yunjan is already 368 years old. In order to prolong his life, he practiced the yuan-stealing magic formula to seize the innate energy of newborn babies to prolong his life. 5. You have replenished the spiritual energy of the Black Broken Sword. You have obtained information that the Black Broken Sword is called the Tiangong Sword. If you find the lost sword tip and refine it again, you may be able to restore its former power. 6. You have moved into No. 168 Diangxianyuan and become a neighbor of Ouyang Long. You have obtained information that Ouyang Long is the 10th prince of the Great Chu State, and his real name is Chu Xianglong. 7. You visited Wanfa Building yesterday. You have obtained information that Wanfa Building is the property of the Tang family of the Jindan family. The Tang family has recently been at odds with the Situ family. 8. You wore the mysterious fragment yesterday. You have obtained information that another fragment of the same origin of the mysterious fragment has been lost in the Ouyang family of the Jindan family. 9. You prepared the Chinli chasing soul incense, the enticing demon psychedelic incense and other incense yesterday. You have obtained the method of preparing the Nishui crazy demon incense and the antidote. For details, please click. 10. You visited Tianbao Pavilion in Qingyan Immortal City yesterday and got information that Tianbao Pavilion recently got a large number of Purple Thunder God bullets from Tianlei sect. These Purple Thunder God bullets are powerful and can kill a person in the early stage of foundation building. Zhao Haifeng, this old guy, is actually plotting against me. Qin Wang looked at the first piece of information and narrowed his eyes. This old guy really can't change his habit of eating shit. He likes to occupy other people's things. When he sees others being easy to bully, he plans to kill them. However, this time he may be miscalculated. My true cultivation level is not the 4th level of the Qi refining stage, but the 7th level of the Qi refining stage, which is higher than that old thing. The ancient demon Fang Yantian who lived thousands of years ago left a nascent soul inheritance in the immortal dynasty of Deu in the 9 realms of China. Qin Wang looked at the second piece of information and was suddenly shocked. The nascent soul inheritance from 10,000 years ago. If one day I can go to the 10,000 Demons Mountain of Deu Immortal Dynasty, I will definitely go and see it. Is there any opportunity for foundation building in Tianbao Pavilion to be auctioned? The Black Broken Sword is called Tiangong Sword. The mysterious fragment is in the Ouyang family of the Jindan family. Qin Wang looked at the 3rd, 5th, and 8th pieces of information with thoughtful expressions in his eyes. He also wants the opportunity to build a foundation, but he is currently only at the 7th level of the Qi refining stage. There are definitely many strong people participating in the auction, so it is not appropriate to get involved at this time. The mysterious fragments are in the hands of the Jindan family, and they can only find ways to slowly get rid of them. The counter bloody demon fragrant. This is really a good thing to deceive people. Qin Wang looked at the 9th piece of information and suddenly became interested. Blood reverse demonic incense. The incense is made from the essence and blood of 12 kinds of demonic beasts, such as demonic apes, blood dragons, and blood-armored scorpions, combined with 18 kinds of spiritual medicinal materials. After being lit, it can double the violent and bloodthirsty combat power of the demonic beasts, regardless of the enemy or the enemy. Crazy killing. Early morning. As expected of Qingyan Fairy City. As the morning sun rose, Qin Wang got up early and couldn't help but sigh. The aura of heaven and earth in Qingyan Immortal City is indeed not comparable to that of Shaodan Mountain. The aura is extremely rich. Today, it was the day when Gao Yuan, Ouyang Long and others went into the mountains to hunt monsters. Qin Wang followed the traces of 1,000 miles chasing soul incense and found that Zhao Haifeng was also heading out of the mountain. Old guy, you're finally out of town. Qin Wang felt the direction of Zhao Haifeng, and a sharp murderous intention flashed in his eyes. He immediately packed up everything, took 10 copies of the psychedelic incense that lured monsters and the purchased Manyang rules for killing monsters, locked the door, and headed out of the city. Qingyan Fairy City's East City and East Gate. It was early in the morning, and there were countless monks going out of the city to hunt monsters. Passing through the tall and thick city wall, Qin Wang hung behind Zhao Haifeng all the way. He found that Zhao Haifeng was with 3 people, the enchanting female cultivator who was with him that day, and the male cultivator who was slightly younger than him. The other male cultivator with a Chinese character Qin Wang didn't recognize him. Not long after, Zhao Haifeng and the others headed to the left of Manyang mountain range. This direction is a white rock mountain, located on the outskirts of the Manyang mountains. There are blood demon frogs in the stone crevices. The blood demon frogs are poisonous. The venom in their backpacks is the main material for refining poison pills. They do not live in groups and are not difficult to hunt. Qin Wang followed secretly. Union, fellow Taoist Yi, fellow Taoist Zhang, let's look for some blood demon frogs to hunt here. In a white stone valley, Zhao Haifeng looked at Taoist monk Mo Union and fellow Taoists Yi Jianong and Zhang Yunyu and said, "Well, it's safer here." Mo Union nodded, Yi Jianong and Zhang Yunyu also agreed, and the four of them began to look for the blood demon frog and kill it together. 4 people, 2 at the 6th level of Qi refining stage, and 2 at the 5th level. Qin Wang hid behind a huge rock in the distance, watching Zhao Haifeng and the 4 people in the valley killing the blood monster frog, with a look of thought in his eyes. With his own strength, he could kill these 4 people and crush them, but if one of them ran away, he would be able to crush them. Oh no. Gotta play it safe. Right now. 3 of the 4 people below suddenly fell to the ground, and only Zhao Haifeng stood there and laughed. Fellow Taoist Zhao, in vain of our many years of friendship, you actually took action against us. In the valley, the sturdy monk with the Chinese character face looked at the laughing Zhao Haifeng and scolded him angrily. Haifeng, what are you doing? Give me the antidote quickly. Mo Union also looked at Zhao Haifeng with an anxious expression. Blood demon frogs were infested here, and if one came, they would be dead. On the contrary, Yi Jianong, who was next to Mo Union, said nothing and had a gloomy look. Give you an antidote, ha 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 ha, you're having love with these 2 fools behind my back. Don't think I don't know. Shameless, aren't you addicted? Today I'm going to treat you well and cut off all your stuff. Zhao Haifeng laughed loudly and walked towards Taoist monk Mo Union, who was lying softly on the white stone, and 2 friends who had been with him for many years, Zhang Yunyu and Yi Jianong, with a look of resentment in his eyes. No, Haifeng, you have wronged Yun'er. We don't have that problem at all. After hearing this, Mo Union's beauty changed drastically, and she wanted to use words to persuade Zhao Haifeng to withdraw his murderous intent. However, Zhao Haifeng's murderous intent was determined, and the magic sword in his hand turned into 2 rays of light, piercing the thighs of Yi Jianong and Zhang Yunyu. Instantly brought up 2 balls of bloody meat. Ah, brother Zhao really doesn't have such a thing. Really? Ah, Yi Jianong and Zhang Yunyu screamed. They looked frightened, but their bodies could not move. They were poisoned by Zhao Haifeng, their magic power was blocked, their limbs were weak, and they watched helplessly as they became eunuchs. You still want to make excuses. If it weren't for it, I would still be kept in the dark. Zhao Haifeng waved his hand, and suddenly, a cute white mouse appeared in his palm. This mouse is not dead. When Mo Union saw the mouse, she suddenly looked desperate and fell silent. She knew that she could no longer deny it. This white jade mouse was quite magical. It could communicate with people's consciousness and transmit the images it saw. She had heard from Zhao Haifeng that it died during a scout mission. Unexpectedly, it was hidden by Zhao Haifeng. It seemed that this weakling had already doubted her. You can't deny it, right? Today I'll make you feel good enough. Zhao Haifeng rolled the magic sword in his hand, and immediately rolled a piece of meat off the thigh of his Taoist partner Mo Union. Ah! Mo Union let out a shrill scream and cursed Zhao Haifeng. Old thing, I, Mo Union, am blind to find you as my Taoist partner. Ha, Senior Zhao, what are you doing? At this moment, Zhao Haifeng heard a slightly familiar voice from behind him. Xiao Qin, why are you here? Zhao Haifeng suddenly turned around and saw a young man in green clothes holding a black bowl. He frowned and gathered his magic sword in his hand. This young man was Qin Titan, who came from Shaodan Mountain and met in Qingyan Fairy City. He had planned that day to kill Qin Titan when he had the chance in the future, but he didn't expect that this little guy would come here. Maybe he would kill him today and have a big harvest. Senior Zhao occupied my spiritual field and took advantage of me, how could I not come? Qin Wang said. His aura was very strong, and he was at the 7th level of Qi refining stage. A translucent human shadow flew out of the bowl in his hand, and drilled into Zhao Haifeng's body with lightning speed, and instantly sank into it. 7th level of Qi refining stage. Zhao Haifeng heard this and his eyes widened. He looked at Qin Wang in disbelief. He wanted to retreat, but it was too late. He didn't expect it. He calculated Mo Union, Yi Jianong, and Zhang Yunyu, but was made a fool by Qin Titan who hid his cultivation. The person who called him senior was actually higher than his cultivation. Zhao Haifeng stood there. His face was grim, his whole body was trembling, and he made a sound of ah, as if there was a demon in his body devouring him. The next moment, Zhao Haifeng stood unsteadily and fell to the ground, holding his head with both hands, his body arched like a shrimp and rolling continuously. At this time, Zhao Haifeng was fighting with the soul seed, and the white mouse in his hand jumped onto a big rock and wanted to escape. Qin Wang stepped forward, and a magic power surged out, immediately encircling the white mouse tightly. The mouse could not move, and there was fear in his eyes. Mo Union, Yi Jianong, and Zhang Yunyu were all seriously injured, bleeding all over the ground, lying on the ground dying. Big harvest. Qin Wang stepped forward, took off all the storage bags on the waists of the 4 people, and put them into his own package. At the same time, Qin Wang also found a green bag similar to the storage bag in Zhao Haifeng's arms. After a long time, Zhao Haifeng finally calmed down and stood silently beside Qin Wang. From now on, your name will be Zhao Honey. Qin Wang looked at Zhao Haifeng with satisfaction in his eyes. At this moment, Zhao Haifeng's consciousness has been swallowed and absorbed by the soul seed, and his body is controlled by the soul seed. He only needs his own consciousness to control every move of Zhao Honey. Yes, Master. Zhao Hun clasped his fists respectfully at Qin Wang and spoke in a low voice. Good. Qin Wang looked at Zhao Honey with a satisfied expression. Why? Qin Wang turned around and looked at Mo Union, Yi Jianong, and Zhang Yunyu who were lying on the ground. He sighed. 3 of them were poisoned and could not move. 2 became eunuchs. Zhao Haifeng dug out a toe bone. He was bleeding too much and there was no need for him. It's probably almost done if you do it. Qin Dao, fellow Taoist, please give me a happy time. Please. Mo Union's face showed pain as she begged. Yi Jianong and Zhang Yunyu were also ashen-eyed. Forget it, I'll give you a ride. Remember, don't have live like in your next life. Qin Wang spoke calmly, and 3 explosive flame techniques flew out, covering the 3 of them. After a while, there were 3 more piles of ashes. Qin Wang disposed of the ashes at the scene, then took Zhao Honey and turned around to leave. Beishi Mountain is 10 miles away. In a woods, Zhao Honey, kill that rhinoceros monster. Qin Wang ordered Zhao Honey who was standing aside. According to the soul seed refining method, the soul seed devoured Zhao Haifeng's soul and grew stronger, obtaining the exercises and spells he had practiced during his lifetime, and he could also improve his cultivation through practice. Yes, Master. Zhao Hun's figure flashed, and the magic sword in his hand slashed out a blazing white sword light, slashing at the rhinoceros demon that was comparable to the 4th level of the qi refining stage. Zhao Haifeng's strength during his lifetime was above the 6th level of the qi refining stage. It was easy to kill this rhinoceros monster. Moo! The rhinoceros monster let out a cry and fell to the ground dead. With Zhao Hun's help, it will be much easier for me to do things in the future. Qin Wang looked at Zhao Honey's action with a look of satisfaction in his eyes. Is this a spirit beast bag? When Qin Wang put his consciousness into the cyan bag in Zhao Haifeng's arms, he immediately saw a space about the same size as the storage bag. There was a 3-foot large bamboo basket inside, covered with thick hay, and there are things like spiritual fruits and dried fruits. Apparently, this is where the white rat lives. Scent. This trip was not in vain. Qin Wang used his spiritual consciousness to open the storage bags of Zhao Haifeng, Zhang Yunyu, Mo Union, and Yi Jianong one by one, and found 880 spiritual stones. There are 26 bottles of elixirs such as the spirit-enhancing pill, the qi-building pill, and the body-quenching pill, as well as a bunch of other materials, and 4 low-grade magic weapons. There is also a white jade mouse. Return to the city to improve your cultivation proficiency. Qin Wang put away the rhinoceros demon and prepared to go back to stew beef for dinner. He called Zhao Hun back to the city. At present, he still had more than 2,500 spiritual stones after consumption. It was the right thing to go back and improve his cultivation. Fellow Taoist Qin. What a coincidence. Qin Wang returned to the east of Dongcheng. As soon as he stepped into the city gate, he heard a slightly familiar voice. Following the voice, Qin Wang saw a sloppily dressed young man. Who could he be if he wasn't Li Qiye? Fellow Taoist Li, you're here too, what a coincidence. Qin Wang looked at Li Qiye and stepped forward to say hello. In fact, he had already learned from the intelligence that Li Qiye had come to Qingyan Fairy City. Fellow Taoist Qin, let's go into the mountains together if we have time. The two chatted and learned that Li Qiye lived at number 222 Diangxian Garden. After chatting for a while, Li Qiye invited Qin Wang to go to the mountain together if they had the opportunity in the future. No problem, Qin Wang nodded. In the courtyard room 168. Go buy some Lingyuan pill, solid yuan pill, and Jufa pill to try. Qin Wang watched the two spiritual stones in his hands turn into ashes, his eyes full of contemplation. After reaching the 7th level of the Qi refining stage, 7,000 proficiency points are required to advance to the 8th level of the Qi refining stage. However, as the cultivation level increases, the proficiency gained by absorbing a spiritual stone shrinks greatly, to only 6 points. He remembers, when advancing from the 2nd level to the 3rd level in the Qi refining stage, a piece of spiritual stone can increase proficiency by 18 points. At this rate, at least 1,167 spiritual stones will be needed to advance to the 8th level of the Qi refining stage. Although Qin Wang currently has more than 2,500 yuan, he still has to maximize his profits. I also have a treasure bowl that can purify the elixir. Thinking of this, Qin Wang stood up, locked the door, and walked towards Lingdan Pavilion. Lingdan Pavilion is the property of the Situ family of the Jindan family in Qingyan Immortal City. There are Lingdan pavilions in the main city of Qingyan Immortal City and the 4 major auxiliary cities. The Situ family occupies more than 80% of the elixir interests in Qingyan Immortal City. To the east of Dongcheng City, Lingdan Pavilion covers an area of dozens of acres and is 3 stories high. On the 1st floor, monks in the Qi refining stage can enter. It specializes in selling elixirs for the Qi refining stage and many medicinal materials for the Qi refining stage. The 2nd floor is accessible to those in the foundation building stage, and the 3rd floor is accessible to elders in the golden elixir stage. Ling Yuan Dan 4 spirit stones. The Gu Yuan pill and the Jufa pill are both 5 spirit stones each. Qin Wang bought 5 Ling Yuan pills, 5 solid yuan pills, and 5 magic gathering pills each at the Lingdan Pavilion, consuming 70 spirit stones. He did not dare to buy more, and he was right to be cautious. When Qin Wang returned to the small courtyard number 168, he threw all 3 kinds of elixirs into the treasure bowl to purify them. I need some elixirs. At night, Qin Wang took out 3 pills and took them one by one to get the result. 1 spiritual yuan pill can increase proficiency by 24 points, and each of the Gu yuan pill and Ju Fa pill can increase proficiency by 30 points. According to this calculation, the cost of absorbing spiritual pills and absorbing spiritual stones is about the same, but absorbing purified spiritual pills is more convenient. Qin Wang secretly calculated in his heart that absorbing spiritual stones requires 1,167 pieces to reach the 8th level of the Qi refining stage, while absorbing Gu yuan spirit pills only requires about 233 to reach full proficiency. In contrast, Qin Wang decided to buy more pills. Daily information refresh. Today's information. 1. You planted a soul seed on Zhao Haifeng's body and controlled it to become a puppet, named Zhao Hanyi. You have obtained information that the soul seed, Zhao Hanyi, has some of the memories of Zhao Haifeng and Zhao Xuanzhen before their death. It will become a good helper on your cultivation path. It may be better if it is a female cultivator. 2. You seized Zhao Haifeng's white jade mouse and obtained information. The white jade mouse is a rare spirit-seeking mouse with a trace of mysterious blood in its body. If there is a great opportunity in the future, it may be able to return to its ancestral home. 3. You seized Zhao Haifeng's white jade mouse and obtained information. The white jade mouse is a mouse that ran away from home in the depths of Qian Mountain. 4. You passed through the gate of Qingyan Fairy City yesterday and obtained information. The anti-cloud ceiling spirit formation was arranged under Qingyan Fairy City, which can block 3 attacks from Yuanying strongmen. 5. You met Li Qiye yesterday and obtained information. Li Qiye will be favored by Tang Lingua, the pearl of the head of the Jindan family Tang family, and will marry into the Tang family and climb up the ladder. 6. You visited the Lingdan Pavilion and obtained information. Situ Yunjan of Lingdan Pavilion successfully refined a furnace of foundation building pills half a month ago and will distribute them to the talented children of the family. 7. You studied the broken iron piece yesterday and obtained information that the broken iron piece is one of the shield fragments of the 9-domain barbarians. 8. You went to the Lingdan Pavilion yesterday and obtained information that the owner of the Lingdan Pavilion is the Situ family. The head of the family, Situ Gen, was parasitized by a mysterious residual soul when he entered the secret realm. He became eccentric and performed Zhou rituals on behalf of his son. He was no longer the real Situ Gen. 9. You prepared the blood-reversing crazy demon incense yesterday and obtained information that the essence and blood you used belonged to an old demon ape. There was a broken iron piece in the demon ape's nest that was the same as the iron piece in your hand. 10. You took a look at the yellow jade piece yesterday and obtained information that the sword-wielding evildoer of the 5-sword domain has been trapped for too long and his soul is weak. If you probe with your spiritual consciousness, you may gain something. Is this white jade mouse a rare spirit-seeking mouse that hides and seeks spirits? It has a mysterious bloodline and an extraordinary origin. Or is it a mouse that ran away from home? Qin Wang looked at the second and third pieces of information and was very surprised. Li Qiye has another great opportunity. Looking at the fifth piece of information, Qin Wang couldn't help shaking his head. This Li Qiye is really lucky. Yellowish jade piece. If you probe it with your spiritual sense, maybe you can get something. Qin Wang looked at the 10th piece of information and his heart moved. He didn't dare to probe it with his spiritual sense before because he learned that there was a mysterious remnant soul in the information. If it took over his body, wouldn't it be the end? Now that I have this information, it's time to take a look. Qin Wang reached out to touch the storage bag, took out the yellowish jade piece, and looked at it in his hand. This piece of jade is 3 inches long and 1 inch wide, with many pale yellow spots on it. It looks like it is very old. His spiritual sense carefully probed into it. The next moment, Qin Wang's spiritual sense saw a foggy space with a radius of 100 feet. In this fog, there was an illusory and graceful figure sitting cross-legged. Her eyes were closed, and her figure was like rippling water waves, and it seemed that she was about to collapse. After 100 years, finally someone came. At the moment when Qin Wang's spiritual sense probed into it, the illusory figure suddenly opened her eyes and a woman's voice came out. The woman seemed to have not spoken for a long time, and her words were intermittent and a little stiff. Junior Qin Wang, meet the senior. Qin Wang looked at the illusory figure in the soul-locking jade space and clasped his fists. He found that the soul of the woman had beautiful eyebrows and graceful figure, which was extremely beautiful and holy, making people feel that they could not look directly at her. Senior. The soul of the woman was stunned for a long time, and then slowly spoke. Where are you and I now? In Qingyan Fairy City between Da Kang Kingdom, Da Wei Kingdom, and Da Chu Kingdom. Qin Wang said with a fist. I have never heard of Qingyan Fairy City. The woman shook her head after hearing this, and looked at the figure transformed by Qin Wang's consciousness, and said. It's a pity that you are too weak to help me. Senior, what do you want me to do? Maybe you can tell me, maybe I can do it. Qin Wang looked at the soul of the woman and said with a fist. Intelligence shows that this woman is the most savvy swordsman in the history of Wu family sword domain. Because she was plotted against by her closest girlfriends, her body collapsed and her soul was trapped in the soul-locking jade. It would be great if such a peerless evildoer could teach her a sword art. Before doing anything, there must be some benefits, right? I have an enemy who has caused me to be like this. I have to return to the peak and kill her before I can have a clear mind. At present, my soul is weak. If there is no replenishment, it will dissipate in 100 years at most. The woman's soul sighed. The strength of the young man in front of her was too weak to help her replenish her soul. Senior, how can I replenish your soul? Qin Wang's heart moved. Isn't there a soul in his soul-gathering bowl? If you find the soul-raising tree, you can slowly recover. The older the better. The woman's soul seemed to have adapted a little, and she spoke more fluently. Okay, I'll keep an eye on it for you. Qin Wang said with a thoughtful look in his eyes. I have an intelligence panel, so it shouldn't be difficult to find these things. Don't you call me senior. Call me Wu Su. Wu Su looked at Qin Wang and spoke slowly. When she was killed, she was about the same age as the young man in front of her. The last person who entered the soul-locking jade also helped to find the 1,000-year-old soul-nourishing tree and was also taught the first volume of the Wu family sword technique, but there was no further news and he was never seen again. I wonder if he died. She was harmed by her closest girlfriend and her body was damaged. She was really unwilling to disappear from the world. She still wanted to ask for a chance to recover. Wu Su. Qin Wang nodded and was about to exit the soul-locking jade space. Wu Su suddenly stopped him and said, "Wait a minute, your cultivation is too low. I will teach you a sword technique that will help you find the soul-nourishing tree. When you find it, I will teach you a stronger sword technique." "Thank you, Miss Wu." Qin Wang's eyes lit up when he heard Wu Su's words. Intelligence shows. Wu Su is the most savvy swordsman in the history of the Wu family sword domain. How can the swordsmanship he masters be ordinary? This is the first volume of the sword art of the world beyond. You can practice it first. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me. When you find the soul-nourishing tree, I will teach you the second volume. After the last destined person got the first volume, he was never seen again. I don't know if he died. If you are not careful in the path of cultivation, you will die. Take care of yourself, go. Wu Su spoke slowly. After speaking, the soul shadow waved his hand, and a white dot flew towards Qin Wang's consciousness. Qin Wang stretched out his hand and grabbed the white dot in his hand. The next moment, the white dot merged into his consciousness. It turned out to be the practice formula of the sword art of the world beyond. Okay, I will do my best to find the soul-nourishing tree. Qin Wang was delighted. The name of the sword art of the world beyond sounds very unusual. Qin Wang exited the soul-locking jade space. Comprehension of the sword art of the world beyond in his mind. What a terrifying sword art, a sword that can cut through the world. It can kill with one strike. As expected of a sword family. Qin Wang silently comprehended the sword art and sword moves in his mind, with a touch of shock in his eyes. This sword art that can cut through the world can be regarded as a slight compensation for Qin Wang's lack of means. Daily Intelligence Panel Upgrade. At this moment, Qin Wang suddenly found that there was a new prompt on the panel. Below the prompt, there was also an additional button to confirm the upgrade. Upgrade. Seeing this prompt, Qin Wang's heart moved. Since it was an upgrade, it naturally means that the function has been increased. Upgrade. Qin Wang immediately clicked OK. Buzz. Qin Wang only felt a shock in his mind, and the panel instantly shone with golden light, like waves rolling by. In this tide, Qin Wang felt a sense of trance, like a small boat. I don't know how long it took. Daily Intelligence Panel Upgrade completed. Qin Wang. Lifespan. 19/124. Realm. 7th level of Qi Refining Stage, 4,367 7,000ths. 5 Elements Gathering Skill. Mastery 2,562 3,000ths condenses the spiritual energy of the 5 elements, cleanses the body, refines mana, and can make up for weakness with diligence. Spell. Fire Spirit Knife. Entry 874 1,000ths. The spell gathers the fire spirit to form a knife, and shoots it out in the air. It is sharp and scorching with flames. Diligence can make up for the weakness. Spell. Spiritual Rain Technique. Introductory level 656 800ths. Condensate mana, give spiritual rain, promote the growth of seedlings, and work hard to make up for clumsiness. Spell. Explosive Flame Technique. Introduction 578 800ths. The method gathers fire into a fist fire bomb, shoots out in the air, explodes when it hits the ground, the flames burn, and diligence can make up for the weakness. Spells. Wind Control. Wooden Shield. Daily Intelligence Refresh. Added Causal Intelligence Refresh. Note: once a target has a causal relationship with you, it is possible to refresh the information of the person related to the causal relationship. Diligence can make up for clumsiness. While absorbing spiritual energy to increase the proficiency of cultivation, it can also increase the proficiency of exercises, spells, etc. Increase Causality Intelligence. Absorbing spiritual energy could increase the proficiency of cultivation before, but now it can increase the proficiency of spells and exercises. Qin Wang looked at the upgraded panel with anticipation in his eyes. To know. In the past, cultivation proficiency could be increased, but the progress of Qin Wang's spells and exercises was too slow and could not keep up with the progress of cultivation. Now, the panel has been upgraded. As long as he continues to absorb spiritual stones, he can improve his cultivation. Kung Fu and spells have reached a higher level. In sync with cultivation. This is simply great. And Qin Wang also discovered that the effects of spells and exercises are no longer a few years of small success, but become hard work can make up for one's shortcomings. Wait until daybreak. Duo will buy the solid yuan pill and come back, and then use the liver sword technique. Qin Wang looked forward to it, secretly made up his mind, and fell asleep. At dawn, Qin Wang went to the 4 cities of Immortal City, the many branches of Lingdan Pavilion, and other small elixir halls to buy elixirs such as Guyuan Dan and Jufa Dan. After coming back, he closed the door, put up a sign saying, "Retreat and do not disturb," and started the Gan separation sword technique. 3 days later, Qin Wang's sword technique of transcending the world has begun. Sword Technique. The Sword Technique of the Eternal World. Volume 1 Introduction. 2/1000 The mana condenses into the sword, cutting off vitality. It is sharp and can kill with one strike. Diligence can make up for your weakness. Qin Wang also discovered that after the panel was upgraded, taking elixirs to practice the sword art of the other world would increase the proficiency of the sword art of the other world, and practicing the techniques would increase the proficiency of the techniques and cultivation. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.